Chapter 1371. What is this place? To Yunsheng's surprise, when she walked up to the last floor of the Bahuang Tower, she saw a scene like this. When she finished the last step, the Bahuang Tower under her suddenly disappeared. She was in an empty space. All around her, there were mirrors. Her reflection was reflected in the mirrors. No matter how Yunsheng moved forward or backward, she still saw countless mirrors. The previous exit also disappeared. She couldn't find the way back. The endless reflections and the long wait made it easy for people to develop a world-weary mood. Fortunately, Yunsheng was a doctor. In such an environment, she knew that she had to keep herself calm. Otherwise, she would fall into madness and even self-harm. After drinking some water of life, Yunsheng calmed down. She began to calculate her heartbeat. Based on her heartbeat and pulse, she guessed that she had been trapped in this enclosed space for a day and 2 nights. Suddenly, Yunsheng felt that there was something behind her that was sizing her up. She turned around abruptly and saw her reflection in the mirror. "Is there anyone there?" Yunsheng shouted into the darkness. There was no reply. No, this was not the real world. If it was the real world, there should be an echo. Yunsheng looked at the mirror beside her. She raised her hand and shot a magic spell at the mirror. The Yunsheng in the mirror smiled strangely. The mirror did not have a trace of crack. The magic was reflected back. It could also reflect magic. Could these mirrors be the Dark Destiny mirror? Could it be that I am in the Dark Destiny mirror? Yunsheng recalled the abnormal reaction of the Dark Destiny mirror. Hee. Woman, you're pretty smart. You actually found out. Suddenly, the figure in the mirror changed. Song Yunsheng had become another person. In the mirror, there was a man. That was a very handsome man. His appearance was unforgettable as long as one saw it. Ji Rumo. Yunsheng saw the man in the mirror and was shocked. She stared at the mirror in disbelief. His eyebrows, nose, lips, and even his hairstyle were exactly the same as Ji Rumo's. However, Yunsheng suddenly realized that he was not Ji Rumo. This was because Ji Rumo would never have such an evil aura. Moreover, the man in the mirror had black hair, while Ji Rumo's hair was white. Don't mention that idiot's name to me. He's simply a disgrace to our mirror spirit clan. Hearing Ji Rumo's voice, the man frowned in disgust. The mirror spirit was a very special artifact spirit. Most of them had their own consciousness, which was outside of the human world, the god world, and the underworld. That was why mirror spirit Ji Rushue couldn't even sense Bo's divine power when she created the mirror world of darkness. You know Ji Rumo? Yunsheng was a little excited. Ji Rumo's death had always been a regret for Yunsheng. Even though she had the Red Lotus Hellfire, she couldn't reforge the mirror of darkness. We don't just know each other. We are the children of the mirror. In the words of your human race, we are twins. My name is Ji Rushue, and his name is Ji Rumo. However, he represents the light side, and I represent the dark side. Ji Rushue smiled. Ji Rumo, that idiot, loves to save people. I, on the other hand, love to eat people. Ji Rushue looked like Ji Rumo, but when he smiled, there was an indescribable sense of danger. Eat people? Yunsheng sensed the murderous intent in Ji Rushue's eyes. Hee, that's right. Eat people. The Dark 8 Desolation artifacts are different from the 8 Desolation artifacts. They were created to save, while we were created to destroy. Look at the mirror beside you. With that, Ji Rushue waved his hand. Many different people appeared in the mirror beside Yunsheng. Those people all had dumbstruck expressions on their faces. These people are the High Priest. All these years, he placed them in the 8 Desolation Tower for me to eat, so that I won't cause trouble. Ji Rushue licked his lips as he spoke. His personality was completely different from Ji Rumo's. Ji Rumo's personality was cold, but he was compassionate. Ji Rushue, on the other hand, was someone who only wanted to see the world burn. In his heart, there was only killing and destruction. High Priest? You mean the High Priest knows of your existence? Yunsheng was on guard. Of course. That guy has always wanted to use the Dark 8 Desolation artifacts to fulfill his ambition. However, the other 7 Dark 8 Desolation artifacts are inanimate objects that don't have a consciousness. He can just find someone to open the seals. I'm the only one he can't do. The High Priest more or less knew of Ji Rushue's existence. However, he wasn't sure where Ji Rushue was. If not for the destiny mirror in Yunsheng's hand, she probably wouldn't have been able to discover Ji Rushue's existence. Ji Rushue, since you and Ji Rumo are both mirror spirits, you must know a way to save him? Yunsheng suddenly asked after a moment of silence. Hee, you're such a fun woman. When Yunsheng entered the world of his Dark Destiny mirror, Ji Rushue had already discovered that Ji Rumo's aura was on Yunsheng. At that time, Ji Rushue had the opportunity to kill Yunsheng. However, he didn't do it immediately. He was very curious about the woman that Ji-Rumo had chosen at the risk of his life. What kind of person was she? When he first saw Yunsheng, Ji-Rushue only thought that Yunsheng had a beautiful face. But was this enough to make Ji-Rumo sacrifice himself without regard for anything else? However, after a few days of observation, Ji-Rushue discovered that Yunsheng was a little different. On the first day that woman entered, she had indeed wandered around like a headless fly. However, later on, she began to eat and do some strange things. After a few days and nights without any contact with the outside world, she was still sharp enough to discover his existence. If you really want to know how to save Ji-Rumo, I can tell you. However, I have a condition. Ji-Rushue smiled and pointed at a mirror behind Yunsheng. I've already devoured the lives of 998 people and sealed them in the mirror to become mirror men. These mirror men are much better than living people. They'll be with me forever. As long as you're willing to be the 999th mirror man, I'll help you save Ji-Rumo. A life for a life. It's a good deal. Mirror men? Yunsheng looked at the mirror behind her. There was no longer an image in it. How about it? Ji-Rumo is willing to give up his life for you. Are you willing to give up your life for him? Ji-Rushue's eyes were filled with madness and fanaticism as he stared at Yunsheng. Chapter 1372. Before Ji-Rumo completely recovered, he had no way of knowing the high priest's background. He could only kindly remind Yunsheng. With that, he disappeared. Ji-Rumo disappeared too quickly. Yunsheng didn't even have time to ask what he meant. Who was the high priest of the beast god altar? Why did he want the 8 desolate darkness divine weapon? But Ji-Rumo couldn't answer these questions for the time being. He could only hope that he could quickly recover after fusing with Ji-Rushue's mirror spirit. After fusing with a portion of Ji-Rushue's mirror spirit, the Heaven's Fate mirror's appearance changed. A murderous black shadow appeared on the originally clean mirror. For a moment, it was hard to tell whether it was the Heaven's Fate mirror or the Heaven's Fate mirror. As for the Heaven's Fate mirror of darkness, Yunsheng carefully picked it up. The Heaven's Fate mirror of darkness only seemed to have lost its luster. Yunsheng thought for a moment and put it away. The magic array is back to normal. Yunsheng realized that the magic array beside her was working normally again. She walked out of the 8 desolate tower. At this time, 4 days and 4 nights had passed since Yunsheng was trapped in the Heaven's Fate mirror of darkness. When Yunsheng walked out of the 8 desolate tower and breathed in the fresh air, she stretched. At this time, she was suddenly frightened by the person in front of her. A man with a face full of beard was rushing up like a madman. Little wild cat. The man's anxious and affectionate voice stunned Yunsheng, who was about to explode. This voice, wasn't it Night Fox's voice? But this extremely tall savage with a face full of messy beard and bloodshot eyes was actually her Night Fox? Yunsheng didn't know that while she was in the Heaven's Fate mirror of darkness, Yi Baiming outside the 8 desolate tower was also suffering. In the past 4 days, Yi Baiming did not sleep, rest, shower, or eat. The only thing he did was stare at Bahuang Tower. Finally, a person walked out of the 8 Wastelands Tower. That person was Yunsheng, whom he had been thinking about day and night. Yunsheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry as Yi Baiming hugged her tightly. I didn't die in there. I was going to be strangled to death by you. Stupid fox, are you trying to murder me? Yunsheng rebuked and frowned. Night Fox was actually like this. Looking at his sloppy appearance, he probably hadn't bathed for a few days. Yunsheng had no idea that Yi Baiming had been waiting there like a fossil for the past few days without sleeping or resting. You heartless woman. How can I be in the mood to take a bath? Yi Baiming was dissatisfied and hugged her even tighter. Only when he truly felt the woman's fragrance and her warm body temperature could Yi Baiming believe that his Yunsheng had really returned. The intimate appearance of the two was seen by Green and Duguxiu, who were also waiting at the side. Duguxiu sneered and left with a flick of his sleeve. Green's heart was empty. He was forcefully pulled away by the Jiulwan clan leader who had rushed over after hearing the news. Sigh, it's all my fault. Green, you should give up. You can also see that Yunsheng likes that Yi brat. The Jiulwan clan leader looked at his grandson's despondent appearance and felt a wave of pain in his heart. The Jiulwan clan leader was also an experienced person. He had also thought of fighting for Green's happiness once. But when he saw the appearance of Yunsheng and Yi Baiming just now, the Jiulwan clan leader knew that Green had no chance. In this world, there were some people who, once they were truly moved, would be hell-bent. Yunsheng and Yi Baiming were both such people. Grandfather, I can't do it. After saying that, Green's figure flashed and a colorful Yuan bird appeared in the sky. It flew into the sky as if it had gone crazy and let out a blood-sobbing cry. The Jiulwan clan leader heard it and let out a long sigh. Oh right, are you first place? Yunqing struggled to break free from Yi Baiming's embrace. The first question she asked was about the clan competition. I was the first to come out, but I had a falling out with the high priest. Yi Baiming coughed and told Yunqing about the day he lost control of his emotions. Sigh, Night Fox, why can't you keep your cool? Although that was what she said, Yunqing knew that if it was Yi Baiming who was trapped in the 8 Wastelands Tower, she would definitely lose control too. No matter what Hu Qinqiu said, she would definitely wait for Yi Baiming to come out. What a pity. It was not easy to get the chance to break the ancient forbidden curse, but it was gone just like that. To make matters worse, Yunqing also found out that Yu Shang, that woman, was in 4th place. This time, I really went for wool and came home shorn. That woman took advantage of me for nothing. Yunqing was the most depressed about this point. But since it had already happened, she could only accept it. Luckily, this time, she helped Ji Rumo regain his strength. But she decided not to tell Yi Baiming about this matter first, in case he was unhappy and smashed the Heaven's Mandate mirror again. Yunqing's return allowed Yi Baiming to return to normal. Under Yunqing's disdainful gaze, he could only return to Qilin Palace to freshen up. Yunqing went to the inn and found Bo and the rest. Dearest master, Bo knew that you would be fine. Bo was very happy when she saw Yunqing. Boss Pingyu and Queen Yimei were also very happy when they saw Yunqing return safely. Dearest master, where did you go? And did you find the last 8 Wastelands divine weapon? Bo asked impatiently. She was very curious where Yunqing went. Even she, a universe god, was unable to sense Yunqing's aura. It's a long story. I met Ji Rumo's brother. Yunqing told the story roughly. So, Peng Lai of Gojoseon revived again? Bo's impression of Ji Rumo was quite good. However, if the Qilin brat knew, he would be depressed for a while. In the few days and nights that Yunqing went missing, those who didn't sleep like Yi Baiming, including Lu and Du Guxiu. These two people's feelings for Yunqing were no less than Yi Baiming's. Now that there was Ji Rumo, the Qilin brat's road to chasing his wife was very long. Oh right, master, there's one more thing. The Celestial Fox tribe has become a superior beast clan. Hu Qinqiu, that old fellow, is certain that you're dead. He has already appointed Yu Shang as the Celestial Fox Saintess. Bo immediately told Yunqing. The Celestial Fox tribe had become a superior beast clan. Hu Qinqiu couldn't wait to bring such good news back to the tribe. He didn't care whether Yunqing was dead or alive. He directly brought a group of Celestial Fox warriors back to Hu City. What? That damned old fox. Yunqing didn't expect that Hu Qinqiu would change sides when she was only missing for a short period of time. But it was no wonder. Hu Qinqiu had always been a two-faced person. It seems that I have to hurry back to the Celestial Fox tribe. Yunqing muttered. Chapter 1373. Yunqing, on the other hand, did not care about the Celestial Fox Saintess. She had no interest in being the Saintess. Even now that the Celestial Fox tribe had become a high-ranking beast tribe, she still thought so. Only that old woman, Yu Shang, would want to be the Saintess. However, Yunqing had to rescue Hu Rulin, and Yunqing was also very worried about the safety of Lu Yunchuang and her clansmen. However, Hu Qinqiu, that old fox, would not agree to her terms so easily. Master, there's one more thing. It's the problem of the Chinese. Boss Pingyu had been waiting for Yunqing to come out. The Bashi tribe had lost their right to be the Bakra orcs. Peng Yu and the Green Hell Wolf tribe had become low-ranking beast tribes, and the Chinese had become middle-ranking beast tribes. However, Boss Pingyu was faced with another problem. He was only a tribe leader with an empty title. He had neither clansmen nor cities under him. I've already considered this matter. Queen Yi Cha, immediately send your night charm warriors to Tsangdu and the Yudu region. Yunqing wrote a few letters and handed them to Queen Yi Cha. Boss Pingyu, there are several dozen cities here. Tomorrow morning, you will take these documents and go inform the various beast clans. Yunqing unhurriedly took out a few documents with the signatures of the various beast clans' young patriarchs. Isn't this what happened in the tower? Boss Pingyu could not help but be speechless. He finally understood Yunqing's earlier intentions. No wonder Master did not care about being the Saintess of the Celestial Fox tribe. She had long planned to establish a new beast tribe that was on equal footing with the Bakra orcs. We have the citizens and the cities. From now on, the 8 Desolates continent will have one more Chinese, Yunqing said solemnly. On one end, Yunqing was plotting her grand scheme. On the other end, Yi Baiming was also filled with emotions in the Qilin Palace. The safe return of Yunqing gave Yi Baiming a sense of joy, as if he had regained what he had lost. He was determined that next time, no matter what happened, he would not leave Yunqing alone. He did not want to experience this feeling that was worse than death a second time. The scalding water scalded his skin until it turned red, but it also washed away the sweat stains and stench from the past few days. The curtain was lifted, and the sound of footsteps came from behind. I didn't expect that the vice-patriarch of the Black Chelan tribe would have the hobby of peeping at men bathing. Without turning his head, Yi Baiming coldly said. Duguxiu stood behind Yi Baiming. Both of them were top-notch figures in the world. At this moment, they met in a bathroom that was only 10 square meters in size. I'm not interested in men. I'm interested in Yunsheng. Duguxiu had just spoken when there was a splash in front of him. The hot water in the pool seemed to have cooled down. Yi Baiming had already put on his clothes, and was only a short distance away from Duguxiu. The two of them saw killing intent in each other's eyes. Vice-Patriarch, that's my woman. You better not have any ideas about her. Yi Baiming's face did not have any extra expression. Yi Baiming, you're wrong. She's still not your woman. Or rather, the current you will never be able to make her truly become your woman. Duguxiu wanted to anger Yi Baiming. However, Yi Baiming did not get angry. He coldly glanced at Duguxiu. Duguxiu, aren't you and I the pot calling the kettle black? Even if he only had half of the Black Chelan's blood, Duguxiu could not touch Yunsheng. Perhaps I was in the past, but I'm different now. Duguxiu laughed. What do you mean? Yi Baiming was stunned. Yi Baiming, do you want to know the method to remove the ancient forbidden curse? Duguxiu sneered. Yi Baiming was slightly startled. Because he had offended the high priest that day, he had not been able to learn the method to remove the ancient forbidden curse from the high priest. Do you still remember Hu Linglong? She's the woman I arranged for you that night. Thanks to you, I removed the ancient forbidden curse on my body. The ancient forbidden curse is only effective on the first celestial fox woman. Perhaps you can learn from me. Duguxiu's eyes flashed as he stared at Yi Baiming. This was the method to remove the ancient forbidden curse? What kind of bullshit method was this? Yi Baiming cursed the high priest's 18 generations of ancestors in his heart. Yunsheng had once said that she wanted to be with him for the rest of her life. He was willing to give her everything. He was even willing to let go of his past hatred. However, in order to remove the ancient forbidden curse, he had to find a new celestial fox woman. This was equivalent to betraying Yunsheng. However, if he did not do so, he would never be able to be with Yunsheng. Duguxiu saw the changes in Yi Baiming's expression and felt a little gloating in his heart. She's just a woman. Men have 3 wives and 4 concubines since ancient times. If you're doing this for Yunsheng's sake, you should remove the ancient forbidden curse. Or do you want her to die an unnatural death like Hu Linglong? Duguxiu encouraged Yi Baiming from the side. Actually, when he found out about the method to remove the curse, he hesitated for a moment. However, when he thought about how he could be with Yunsheng without any scruples after removing the curse, he no longer hesitated. Even without Hu Linglong, he would find a second or third celestial fox woman to remove the curse. In Duguxiu's eyes, other than Yunsheng, all women were the same. Duguxiu, you still don't understand. I'm different from you. I won't betray Yunsheng. Yi Baiming only thought for a moment before rejecting Duguxiu's suggestion. Yi Baiming, why are you pretending to be virtuous? You're the regent of Great Zhou. Have you never had a woman before? Duguxiu did not expect Yi Baiming to reject him. Yunsheng, she'll be the only woman in my life. Even if I can't have her body, it's enough to have her heart. Duguxiu, you'll never understand what it means to be willing to be together forever. As Yi Baiming spoke, he smiled faintly and ignored Duguxiu. He was willing to be with Yi Baiming forever? What exactly was Yi Baiming? Was this the only thing he had lost to Yi Baiming? Duguxiu stood in the bathroom. White steam rose up and enveloped his entire body. Haha, it seems that not everyone is as flexible as the deputy patriarch. But even so, He Yao and He Linlin, that pair of father and daughter, still want to pass the position of patriarch of the Black Chelan tribe to Yi Baiming. The high priest descended from the roof like a ghost. This high priestess appeared too frequently recently. Duguxiu could not help but feel suspicious. It's you again? Although I agreed to cooperate with you, I won't betray the Black Chelan tribe. Because of Yi Baiming's words, Duguxiu was very unhappy. Now that he saw the high priestess, his tone was even worse. Deputy Patriarch, please don't misunderstand. I'm not asking you to betray the Black Chelan tribe. On the contrary, I just want the Black Chelan tribe to become stronger. The high priestess's words made Duguxiu sneer. High priestess, do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? Everyone knows about the beast god altar's ambition. Sorry, I still have something to do in my residence. I'll take my leave first. After saying that, Duguxiu walked away. Deputy Patriarch, you'll come back to find me very soon. The high priestess said from behind. Chapter 1374. Not long after Yunqing left the Eight Wastelands Tower, the other major beast tribes received the news. Even though Yunqing had obtained the Heavenly Fate Mirror, she had exceeded the deadline by a month. Hence, she did not obtain a ranking in the end. Even so, many people were still thinking of ways to get rid of Yunqing after receiving the news. "Father, that celestial fox Yunqing has come out again. I really regret it. I should have killed her before the core competition." He Linlin was furious after knowing that Yunqing had successfully left the Eight Wastelands Tower and obtained the Heavenly Fate Mirror. That woman didn't die even after all this. She was really like a ghost that wouldn't disperse. He Linlin was thinking about how to get rid of Yunqing. "Linlin, your temper is still too impatient. That woman has yet to leave the Sky Harmony City. There are many ways to kill her." He Yao disagreed. Reporting to Patriarch, Junior Patriarch, Celestial Fox Yunqing and the Chinese Patriarch request an audience. A subordinate of the Black Qilin tribe came in to report. "There's a path to heaven but she doesn't want to take it. This woman actually dares to come here and ask for an audience. Father, this time, don't stop me. I will definitely kill her." When He Linlin heard that Yunqing actually dared to come to her house, a bloodthirsty smile appeared on her face. "Patriarch He Yao, Junior Patriarch, long time no see." Yunqing, Yi Baiming and the Chinese Patriarch walked in together. "Yunqing, how dare you? You have already been expelled from the Celestial Fox tribe by Hu Qianqiu. You still have the guts to stay in the Sky Harmony City." He Linlin looked at Yunqing as though she was looking at an idiot. Looking at Yi Baiming and Yunqing's inseparable behavior, He Linlin's eyes burned with anger. She wanted nothing more than to skin Yunqing alive. Hu Qianqiu had also heard that Yunqing had left the Ba Huang Tower. However, Yunqing had offended many people during the Ba Huang clan competition. She had also offended He Linlin, Yu Shang and the others. Hu Qianqiu, that old man who was greedy for life and afraid of death, after hearing the news, was afraid that Yunqing would cause trouble, so he announced to the public that Yunqing was just a Celestial Fox bastard, pretending to be his niece, and had no relationship with the Celestial Fox tribe at all. He also didn't allow Yunqing to enter the territory of the Celestial Fox tribe. "Young clan head, you're wrong. I wasn't kicked out by Hu Qianqiu. On the contrary, after I left Ba Huang Tower, I announced that I was leaving the Celestial Fox tribe. I have just joined the newly established Chinese Bakra orcs. I'm here to look for young Patriarch to settle our previous debts." Yunqing wasn't in a hurry. She took out a receipt. On the white paper, there were blood stains, and He Linlin's name was signed. Seeing that receipt, He Linlin's face turned even darker. Previously, when she was in Ba Huang Tower, because she needed the antidote, she was forced to write this receipt against her will. Because Yunqing was trapped in Ba Huang Tower, He Linlin had already forgotten about this matter. Who knew that she would bring it up again? Shameless B****, it turns out that you're the behind-the-scenes manipulator of Hua people. How dare you threaten me with this promissory note? He Linlin grabbed the promissory note and tore it into pieces. Regarding the newly established Chinese Bakra orcs, the patriarchs of several beast clans had secretly investigated. However, the information they received was that the Chinese were a new tribe formed by a mix of beasts and humans. Previously, the other patriarchs of the beast clans thought that even if the Chinese became a middle-level beast clan, they wouldn't be able to do much. Because the Chinese had a small population, and most importantly, they didn't have a city or stronghold. Without a city or stronghold, the beasts were like water without a source or a tree without roots. It was impossible for them to do much. In private, they even joked that they didn't know whether they could still see the Chinese in the next Ba Huang clan competition. Unexpectedly, Yunqing actually joined the Chinese at this critical moment. After connecting the cause and effect and Yunqing's performance in Ba Huang Tower, He Linlin immediately understood that the Chinese and the challenge tournament had long colluded with Yunqing. It could even be said that Yunqing was the real patriarch of the Chinese. She was the one who created the Chinese. "Young patriarch, just tear it. I knew that you would turn hostile and deny it. The one you tore was copied by others. I still have the one you wrote by yourself. It turns out that the dignified Black Qilin tribe also likes to turn hostile and deny it. You're no different from those low-level beast clans." Yunqing curled her lips. "Don't think that I won't dare to kill you." He Linlin's eyes were about to spit fire. "You can try," Yi Baiming said calmly from behind, his eyes cold. He Linlin held her breath. She could sense that Yi Baiming gave her an unfathomable feeling. The Dark War God's halberd in his hand glowed with a cold light. "Yi Baiming, this is their private matter. You'd better not interfere." Yi Baiming was also furious when he saw that Yi Baiming was protecting Yunqing and ignoring his daughter. These people clearly did not place him, the clan leader, in their eyes. I've just joined the Chinese like Sheng, Since I'm also a member of the Chinese, how can it not be my business to take back the Chinese territory? Yi Baiming said matter-of-factly. Yunsheng looked on from the side and was very satisfied. Yi Baiming was quite a competent fighter. It's fine if you two don't want to admit it. Anyway, I've already asked the rest of the Chinese to leave the city. When the time comes, I'll send a copy of the young tribe leader's letter to every city in the tribal countries for everyone to judge. Yunsheng said and took out another letter. However, the handwriting on each letter was similar to He Linlin's. No one knew which one was the real one. Men, bring me the deeds of the 15 cities in the north. He Linlin was more rational than He Linlin. He finally understood that this girl called Yunsheng was like a fox. She was very cunning. With Yi Baiming around, he couldn't kill her immediately. If she wanted cities, he would give her 15 of the poorest and most remote cities. However, whether she could safely reach the 15 cities in the north after leaving Sky Harmony City would depend on Yunsheng's ability. Patriarch He Yao is indeed magnanimous. You're not like some petty people who don't admit it after signing the letter. I'll take away the city deeds. In order to prevent some people from not believing me, I'll have to trouble Patriarch He Yao to write another letter saying that you're willing to give the 15 cities to the Chinese forever. Yunsheng took out a brush and ink as if she was performing a magic trick and asked He Yao to write another letter. He Yao pulled a long face. He almost tore the paper with every word he wrote. When he reached the last word, the brush was crushed into pieces by He Yao. Patriarch's words are really precious. I'll take my leave first. Don't worry, after I get the cities, I'll go as far as I can. I won't be an eyesore to you. Yunsheng smiled brightly. She was considered rich in the boundless continent, but it was the first time she had obtained 15 cities in one go. Especially when she thought of the expressions of He Yao and his daughter, this feeling was really good. Chapter 1375. Yunsheng, Yi Baiming, and the Chinese patriarch walked out of the Qilin Palace. Yunsheng, who had obtained 15 cities, was in a good mood. However, while Yunsheng was in a good mood, He Yao and his daughter in the Qilin Palace were on the verge of vomiting blood. The two of them had been high and mighty for so many years. When had they ever suffered such humiliation? Father, you let them go just like that? That woman is so infuriating. I don't care. I must kill her personally. He Linlin had already gone mad with anger. That person called Yunsheng had repeatedly challenged her bottom line. They are still in the Sky Harmony City and have a written agreement. If something happens, the spearhead will definitely be pointed at the Black Qilin tribe. If she wants a city, give it to her. There is still a long way to go before she reaches the other cities. At that time, you can deal with her however you want. However, it's better if you leave her alive. He Yao said indifferently. As long as those people were still in the Black Qilin tribe, he had many ways to deal with them. What He Yao wanted to avoid now was how to deal with Yi Baiming. That brat was arrogant and unruly. He was the same as him in the past. Once he set his sights on someone, he would never turn back. He Yao finally understood this point. However, He Linlin was still stubborn. Leave that bastard's life? Father, what do you mean by that? Didn't you say that if he could prove that he was stronger than Duguxiu, he would marry me and inherit the position of the Black Qilin tribe? Now you want me to let that Yunsheng go? He Linlin was frustrated. Linlin, you know that brat's temper. If you push him too far, you won't be able to get anything. Father has already thought of a perfect plan for you. You take in that celestial fox. She will be the mistress and you will be the eldest. I will pass the position of the patriarch to Yi Baiming. He Yao comforted his daughter. He Linlin thought about it. Yunsheng and Yi Baiming couldn't be together because of the ancient forbidden spell. No matter how much love there was between a man and a woman, if they couldn't enjoy the joy of intimacy, it would be useless no matter how deep their feelings were. When she became Yi Baiming's wife and gave birth to his children, he would definitely neglect Yunsheng. When He Linlin thought of this, she couldn't help but feel happy. In her heart, she had reluctantly accepted the fact that Yunsheng would be the mistress. The father and daughter then discussed some other matters in the tribe. Deputy Patriarch, the Dugu Mansion, the Grand Priestess's hand, the Lord, the Grand Priestess held a magic crystal ball in her hand. In the magic crystal ball, everything that happened in the Qilin Palace was seen by Duguxiu. Although he didn't know where the crystal ball came from, it was indeed He Yao and his daughter. Duguxiu's gaze was fixed on the crystal ball. He was extremely shocked. He Yao actually. Didn't he vow to him earlier that as long as Duguxiu was willing to be the deputy patriarch of the Black Qilin tribe, he would inherit the position of the patriarch in the future? Everything was a lie. He only knew that He Yao wanted to hand the Black Qilin tribe to Yi Baiming. What should I do? Duguxiu already knew that from the moment Yi Baiming was the first to walk out of the Eight Wastelands Tower, He Yao's heart had already leaned towards Yi Baiming. In order to let Yi Baiming acknowledge his ancestors, He Yao didn't hesitate to give him the position of the patriarch. He was even willing to let He Linlin and Yunxing serve the same husband. Unfortunately, He Yao and He Linlin were both wrong. Not to mention that Yi Baiming didn't care about the position of the patriarch of the Black Qilin tribe. Yunxing wasn't the kind of woman who was willing to compromise. The two of them only had eyes for each other. They couldn't tolerate a single grain of sand. Ha ha ha, what a joke. I've done so much for the Black Qilin tribe all these years. In the end, I lost the person I love and the position of the patriarch of the Black Qilin tribe. What is this? He Yao, you lied to me. You lied to mother. A man didn't cry easily. It was only when he wasn't sad. At this moment, Duguxiu was like a lone wolf. He felt an unprecedented sadness and despair. He Yao had said that he would be the son he valued the most. But now, it seemed like everything was a joke. There was only Empress Li in He Yao's heart. His love for Empress Li had also been transferred to Yi Baiming. Back then, if it hadn't been for Yi Baiming, he wouldn't have been unable to gain a foothold in the boundless continent and lost Yunsheng. Why did all the good things in the world belong to Yi Baiming alone? Waves of hatred turned into an ocean of hatred. Duguxiu was like a boat that had lost its way. He couldn't see anything clearly. He only knew that everything he had been taken away by Yi Baiming. He wasn't willing to accept this. He wanted to take back everything that belonged to him. He could give Yunxing more happiness than Yi Baiming. As long as he became the most powerful person on the continent, he would be able to take revenge. I want to take revenge on He Yao and Yi Baiming. Tell me, what should I do? There were no more tears in Duguxiu's eyes. He was like a walking corpse. There was only hatred in his heart. There is a statue here. You just have to secretly place it in the forbidden area of the Black Qilin tribe. Also, find the Black Qilin relic and hand it to me. I can help you seize everything you want, whether it is the position of the patriarch or that woman from the Celestial Fox tribe. When the high priest mentioned the Celestial Fox tribe, hatred flashed across his eyes. Duguxiu, who was completely surrounded by hatred and jealousy, didn't notice the strange expression on the high priest's face. It's not difficult to enter the forbidden area. However, the Black Qilin King's relic is with He Linlin. It might be a little difficult to get it. Duguxiu hesitated. Don't worry. You will have the chance soon. The high priest smiled. The secret cooperation between the high priest and Duguxiu was very secretive. He Yao and his daughter were still in the dark. What? You guys didn't find the Chinese? It wasn't easy for He Linlin to wait for Yunsheng and the rest to leave Sky Harmony City. Who would have thought that they would disappear without a trace the moment they left Sky Harmony City? Young patriarch, we have been watching them for 12 hours. But they disappeared the moment they left the city. The warriors of the Black Qilin tribe were sweating profusely. The warriors of the Black Qilin tribe were also speechless. They could tell He Linlin the details of the matter. The truth was, during these few days, He Linlin and the rest had been secretly following Yunsheng and the rest. When the other party finally left Sky Harmony City, they were about to inform the young patriarch. But who would have thought that a mysterious airship would appear at the outskirts of the city? The speed of the airship was simply indescribable. The warriors of the Black Qilin tribe used the 8 desolate Qilin horses to chase after it. Even after 8 desolate Qilin horses died, they still couldn't catch up. In the end, they were left behind without a trace. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't catch up. The warriors of the Black Qilin tribe couldn't understand how an ordinary-looking airship could be so fast. Chapter 1376. Trash, good for nothing. In the Qilin Palace, waves of angry scolding and smashing sounds echoed. The palace maids and guards outside the palace all shrunk their necks. Needless to say, the young clan leader was angry. Recently, the young clan leader's temper was unusually irritable. If one was not careful, they would be shot. Why are you still standing here? Hurry up and find someone to go to those cities with me. The monk can escape, but the temple can't escape. He Linlin was so angry that she couldn't do anything. She could only wave her hand. She didn't believe that Yunsheng would not appear. It's too carefree. My dear master, if that father and daughter knew where we are now, would they be so angry that they would vomit blood? Bobo sat on the empty ship. Her tender white feet swayed as she patted the side of the ship. Yunsheng had long predicted the thoughts of the Black Qilin father and daughter. However, He Yao and the others had miscalculated one thing, and that was that Yunsheng and the others had a God Realm treasure ship in their hands. No matter how fast the 8 Desolation Qilin horse was, it couldn't catch up to the items of the God Realm. After Yunxing shook off the warriors of the Black Qilan tribe, she ordered Qing City to fly in the opposite direction of the 15 Black Qilan cities. Yunxing didn't plan to go to the 15 Black Qilan cities immediately. She still had a few other documents in her hands. She planned to take back these cities one by one. When the other Bahuang clan leaders saw Yunxing, they couldn't help but be surprised. They weren't willing to hand over the cities under their names. However, when they saw He Yao's handwritten document, even the Black Qilan had handed over 15 cities, what other objections could they have? As a result, there were dozens of cities in Yunsheng's hands. Yunsheng, take care. When Green saw Yunsheng at the Nine Luan tribe, his eyes were somewhat sad. Yunsheng also felt that Green had a special feeling towards her. Thank you for your concern, young clan leader. I will protect my woman well. Yi Baiming took a step forward and stood between Yunsheng and Green. His tall figure completely covered Yunsheng. These men were like flies, circling around his woman. Just looking at them made him sick of it. Yunsheng, no matter what, I will never be your enemy. Green smiled bitterly. He knew that Yunsheng was finally going to leave him. Thank you. The woman's voice floated past like a cloud. Green could only watch as the Heavenly Realm's treasure ship rose into the sky and left. Night Fox, why are you stopping me from talking to Green? Yunsheng was displeased. If it were you, you'd be happy for me to talk to other women. When I wasn't around, that guy was very attentive. Yi Baiming's mouth was full of jealousy. Yunsheng rolled her eyes at him. I can't be bothered to talk to you anymore. All the cities have been reclaimed. Our last stop is the Celestial Fox tribal nation. This man was getting more and more petty. 3 days later, the Heavenly Realm's treasure ship arrived in the sky above Hu City. Before they reached Hu City, Yunsheng saw a red ocean from afar. Needless to say, Yunsheng knew that Hu Qianqiu must have ordered people to decorate the area to celebrate the Celestial Fox tribe becoming a superior beast clan. Inside Hu City, there were lanterns and colored banners everywhere. Red carpets covered the official road. The Fox clan's patriarch, Hu Qianqiu, was in a good mood. It was as if he had returned to the time when the Celestial Fox tribe had just arrived at the Eight Desolates continent. The Celestial Fox tribe had once again become a high and mighty existence. All of this was brought about by him, Hu Qianqiu. Patriarch, Yunsheng has brought some people and is outside the Celestial Fox Palace seeking an audience. Hu Qianqiu raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Yunsheng, why did that Celestial Fox bastard come back? I'm not seeing her. Why don't you see what kind of place the Celestial Fox Palace is? Can any Tom, Dick, or Harry enter? Hu Qianqiu said in annoyance. But Patriarch, the High Priest's disciple came with her, and the Chinese clan's Patriarch. The Celestial Fox guards were no match for them. Even if the Patriarch was unhappy, that group of people could fight their way in. The High Priest's disciple? Hu Qianqiu was shocked. He had already asked around. The High Priest's disciple's identity was not simple. He was the champion of the Eight Desolates tribe competition. It was said that he was the illegitimate son of the Black Qilan Patriarch, He Yao. He Yao had always wanted to pass the position of Black Qilan Patriarch to him. Such a big shot could not be offended. Idiot, how can we let Lord Yi wait outside? Quickly invite the Saintess over. We have to welcome the guests together. Hu Qianqiu said hurriedly. When Yunsheng, Yi Baiming, and the others entered the Celestial Fox Palace, Hu Qianqiu and Yushang were already waiting inside. When Yushang saw Yi Baiming, her eyes flickered. Hu Qianqiu also had a fawning look on his face. But when the two of them saw Yunsheng walking side by side with Yi Baiming, their expressions became strange. Yunsheng, you still have the face to come. If it wasn't for the Saintess ability, the Celestial Fox tribe would have been killed by you. Hu Qianqiu had a look of disgust on his face. He had originally thought that this woman, Yunsheng, would be very capable. In the end, she was the last to leave the Eight Desolates Tower. If it was her, the Celestial Fox tribe wouldn't even be able to get a low-level beast. I've seen shameless people, but I've never seen someone so shameless. If it wasn't for Master, you might not even be able to win the arena competition. Hu Qianqiu, this old man, was too disgusting. Impudent. Our Celestial Fox tribe is filled with talents. Us becoming a high-level beast race has nothing to do with her. Hu Qianqiu's face and ears were red. He would rather die than admit that Yunsheng had done anything. Hu Qianqiu, I didn't come here today to discuss these matters with you. Whether it's being expelled from the Celestial Fox tribe or the Saintess position, I have no interest in any of these. We had an agreement before. As long as the Celestial Fox tribe becomes a high-level beast race, you will let the Ice Fox tribe go and return Madame Rulan's freedom. You won't go back on these 2 points, right? Yunsheng was already mentally prepared for Hu Qianqiu's shamelessness. But seeing his hoodlum appearance, she couldn't help but feel a bit angry. Whatever, she didn't have any friendship with the celestial fox tribe. After this, it could be considered as cutting off all ties. This. Hu Qianqiu looked at Yi Baiming beside Yunsheng and calculated in his heart. Offending Yunsheng wasn't a big deal, but offending Yi Baiming wasn't a good thing. Anyway, Hu Rulin wasn't important. She only knew how to cry all day and wasn't willing to let him touch her. Throwing her to Yunsheng wasn't a big deal. The people of the Ice Fox tribe have already left Hu City. As for Hu Rulin, that useless woman. If you want to take her away, then take her away. She is in the cold palace of the Celestial Fox Palace. Hu Qianqiu's face was cold and emotionless. Yunsheng heaved a sigh of relief. If Hu Qianqiu wasn't willing, she really planned to snatch her away. Lord Yi, the harem is a woman's place. You are a man, please stay. Seeing that Yi Baiming and Yunsheng were going to the cold palace together, Yu Shang, who had been silent all this while, suddenly opened her mouth and called out to Yi Baiming. Chapter 1377. Yi Baiming glanced at Yunsheng. Wait for me outside so that people don't have a reason to gossip. Yunsheng nodded. She already had some suspicions in her heart. Yu Shang's attitude towards Yi Baiming was very different. This old woman, Yu Shang, had always been overbearing. However, when she spoke to Yi Baiming, she acted like a little girl. This made Yunsheng feel goosebumps all over her body. However, they were still in the Celestial Fox Palace. There were so many people in the palace that she wasn't afraid of Yu Shang playing any tricks. Then I'll have to trouble Holy Maiden to accompany Lord Yi on a tour of the Celestial Fox Palace. I'll take my men to the cold palace first. Hu Qianqiu glanced at Yu Shang. In terms of looks, Yu Shang wasn't necessarily inferior to Yunsheng. It would be best if Yu Shang could hook up with Lord Yi. Yi Xiu, don't you remember me? After Hu Qianqiu and the others left, Yu Shang hurried forward, wanting to grab Yi Baiming. Holy Maiden, my name is Yi Baiming, not Yi Xiu. Yi Baiming had heard about Yu Shang long ago. He knew that this woman had harmed Yunsheng many times in the past. He only felt disgust for her. When she took a few steps closer, Yi Baiming took a few steps back, looking like he didn't want strangers to come close. Yi Xiu, you're Yi Xiu. You look almost the same as Yi Xiu. You have the same nose bridge, the same deep eyes, and the aura of the Qilin King on you. I'm Yu Shang, Hu Yan's younger sister. Hu Yushang's eyes were filled with tears. She had loved Yi Baiming for so many years. Now that she saw Yi Baiming, who looked almost the same as Yi Xiu, standing in front of her, she couldn't help but grab his sleeve. Rip! Yu Chang's hand had just touched Yi Baiming's sleeve when a gust of wind brushed past. All that was left in Yu Chang's hand was a piece of torn sleeve. The biting cold battle energy caused Yu Shang's skin to ache slightly. Her delicately decorated fingernails had been cut in half, and her fingertips were dripping with blood. I don't care if you're Yu Shang, or even Hu Yan's sister. None of this has anything to do with me. If you continue to pester me, your hand will be broken next time. His cold gaze and resolute words made Yu Shang feel as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over her head. Yi Xiu, how dare you injure me? You must think that I'm a crazy woman. Let me tell you, you don't remember me because you're missing the Qilin King's Saraira and the Qilin King's heart. Just you wait. Once we find King Qilin's Saraira and King Qilin's heart, you will remember everything. Yu Shang held the sleeve with a crazed look in her eyes. She stumbled and ran out. Yi Baiming was deep in thought. Yi Xiu? Hu Yushang said that he was Yi Xiu. He was Yi Baiming, not Yi Xiu. He felt as if a huge rock was pressing down on his heart, and he was a little flustered. It's better not to mention this to Yunsheng, lest she overthinks. Yi Baiming sighed inwardly. In the cold palace, Hu Rulin, who had been locked up for many days, heard the door open. When she saw Yunsheng walk in and offer to take her away, a smile appeared on Hu Rulin's face. How could this woman be so calm? Hu Qianqiu looked at Hu Rulin in disbelief. In his impression, Hu Rulin was weak and easily cried. When he asked her to leave the Celestial Fox Palace, she should be crying and unwilling to leave. You can take some of your jewelry with you, lest others say that I'm unreasonable. Hu Qianqiu snorted. No need. I just want to take Guizhi and my daughter's ashes away. I don't want anything else. Hu Rulin had changed into a plain dress. She hugged the urn and walked out of the cold palace with the accompaniment of her maidservants, leaving Hu Qianqiu far behind. Hu Qianqiu was at a loss for words. He didn't know why, but he had the misconception that he had been abandoned even though he was the one who had abandoned that woman. That's right, it was an illusion. The Celestial Fox tribe had become a superior beast tribe, and he had everything. How could he be abandoned? From now on, he was the superior beast tribe, the chief of the Celestial Fox tribe. When Yunsheng brought Madame Rulin to Yi Baiming was also slightly surprised. Hu Rulin really resembled Yunsheng's mother. Night Fox, where's Yushang? Yunsheng didn't see Yushang and felt a little strange. I don't know where she went. Little wild cat, let's return to the Celestial Realm's treasure ship first. Yi Baiming didn't say much, and the group returned to the Celestial Realm's treasure ship together. After boarding the treasure ship, Yunsheng and Hu Rulin both let out a sigh of relief. It's time for us to take a look at the major cities. The Celestial Realm's treasure ship slowly moved forward. In the next few days, a piece of shocking news came from all over the continent. The rise of the Chinese race, and it was rumored that the chief of the Chinese race had seized many cities from the 7 major beast tribes. This included all the cities of the Bashi tribe, the Black Qilan tribe, the 9 Luan tribe, the Di clan, and many other cities. In an instant, the Chinese race went from being a tribal country without any territory to being the 4th largest beast tribe after the old Bakra orcs, the Black Qilan tribe, the 9 Luan tribe, and the Di clan. Not only that, on the first day of the establishment of the tribal country, the Chinese race announced that all humans, half-orcs, and orcs would be treated equally in the territory of the Chinese race. A large number of humans, half-orcs, and some non-Bakra orcs rushed to the Chinese race after hearing the news. Among them, the Celestial Fox tribal country was the most seriously affected. Chief, a large number of people in the south have left their cities and are heading to the Chinese race. Chief, Tsangdu has announced that it has left the Celestial Fox tribal country and joined the Chinese race. Chief, Yudu has announced that it has left the Celestial Fox tribal country and joined the Chinese race. Chief, Fengdu has announced that it has left the Celestial Fox tribal country and joined the Chinese race. The news came one after another, and Hu Qianqiu was caught off guard by the news. Those people in the capital cities and those who had left their homes for the Chinese race all had the same slogan, "Protect the Saints," and "Humans, orcs, and half-orcs are equal." Damn it, are these people rebelling? Hu Qianqiu couldn't sit still anymore, and the elders of the Elders Association also came to him one by one. The capital city they were in had been affected by the secession of the 3 capital cities from the Heavenly Fox tribe nation and had also fallen into turmoil. Hu Qianqiu immediately prepared an army and prepared to attack the traitorous capital cities. However, the 3 capital cities formed an alliance army, and in the alliance army, there was also a ferocious army of tigers and wolves. The Sky Fox army, for a moment, was actually unable to repel the enemy. The allied army pointed their spears at the chief of the Celestial Fox people and the Celestial Fox tribal country. They believed that Yunsheng was the only Saintess. Chief, at this time, you must ask Saintess Yushang to quell the rebellion. Several elders suggested, but at this critical time, Yushang and the Grand Witch Doctor both disappeared. Chapter 1378. Bitch, the old and the young are all like this. None of them are reliable. Hu Qianqiu was even more annoyed when he heard this. As for the elders, they were cursing in their hearts. Isn't this all because of you? If it weren't for the tribe leaders' ingratitude, they wouldn't have to offend a thorn like Yunsheng. No one would have thought that Yunsheng, that bitch, would unknowingly have such a high reputation among the major cities and the half-beastmen of the human race. She didn't become the Saintess. Many people in the major cities of the Celestial Fox tribe were dissatisfied with this matter. This became the fuse of the internal strife of the Celestial Fox tribe. However, Hu Qianqiu was too immersed in the joy of becoming a superior beast that he didn't notice it. What made Hu Qianqiu even more annoyed was that Yunsheng had taken Hu Rulin away one step ahead of time. She even colluded with the Ice Fox tribe. Right now, that group of allied forces was indeed very difficult to deal with. The Celestial Fox tribe nation fell into turmoil. The Ba Serpent tribe was destroyed, but the Chinese cities were thriving. He Linlin and the others had been waiting in the 15 cities of Black Qilan for many days, but Yunsheng and the others had not been seen. What made He Linlin even more annoyed was that a large number of humans and half-beastmen had poured in just over a month's time. Even the dozen or so Black Qilan cities, which used to be very backward, had sent Chinese officials to the city. These officials were not as greedy as the Black Qilan nobles and officials. They built roads, opened martial arts schools, and encouraged people to learn medical skills in the local areas. Soon, they were supported by the Black Qilan people. Seeing her own people being recruited by the Chinese, one could imagine how He Linlin felt in her heart. Damn it, where is Yunsheng hiding? He Linlin decided that no matter what, she had to find Yunsheng's whereabouts. After some inquiries, He Linlin finally found out that Yunsheng was currently staying in the original capital of the Ba Shi tribe, Bazhou County. Thus, she immediately led a group of Black Qilan elites and secretly hid in the Snake Palace in Bazhou County under the cover of the night. Around midnight, He Linlin killed her way into the Snake Palace. Black shadows flickered as He Linlin and the Black Qilin warriors charged into the main hall of the Snake Palace. Yunxing, you slut. Let's see where you'll escape to this time, He Linlin said through gritted teeth. She approached the bed and slapped it. The bed curtain fell, and there was no one on the bed. She was fooled. He Linlin was startled. She immediately flew backwards. But when she turned around, she saw Dugu Xiu and the high priest standing behind her. It's you? Why are you here? Seeing the two people who shouldn't be here, He Linlin became alert. She remembered that when she left Sky Harmony City, Dugu Xiu was sent to another capital. He Linlin, you've been fooled. Yunxing isn't here. Dugu Xiu looked at He Linlin with ridicule. Compared to Yunxing, He Linlin was still much weaker. Why would Yunxing stay in the Ba Serpent tribe to wait for people to capture her after provoking several large beast tribes? She should be hiding in a place where no one would be able to find her. Dugu Xiu, you colluded with the high priest. You betrayed the Black Qilin tribe. He Linlin also realized that she had been fooled. She looked around and realized that the Qilin warriors who followed her were all behind Dugu Xiu. When did these people become Dugu Xiu's subordinates? Betray? He Linlin, you should say this to He Yao. Who forced me to betray you? After you father and daughter used me, you want to kick me away? Dream on. Dugu Xiu was filled with hatred. When he thought of the words that He Linlin and her father said that day, his heart felt like it was being stabbed by a knife. Humph, who do you think you are? You're just a mixed-blood bastard. Dugu Xiu, don't think that you can catch me by yourself. Don't forget that I still have the Black Qilin King's Saraira in my body. He Linlin wasn't afraid. Within her body, a black star-like energy was faintly stirring. That diamond-shaped Black Qilin King's Saraira released a powerful energy fluctuation. The powerful energy made it difficult for others to get close to it. With the Black Qilin King's Saraira in her hand, He Linlin wasn't afraid of anyone. Young tribe leader, this time, you're wrong. It's better if you hand over your Black Qilin King's Saraira. The high priest took a step forward and reached out his hand towards He Linlin. For some reason, the Black Qilin King's Saraira that was like a ferocious beast in the eyes of others was useless in the eyes of the high priest. You! Impossible, how could you? He Linlin's eyes widened in fright as if she had seen something inconceivable. The Black Qilin King's Saraira was only absorbed into He Linlin's body through the combined efforts of many elders of the Black Qilin clan. There were only two ways to retrieve the Black Qilin King's Saraira. The first way was to summon the Black Qilin King's Saraira. The second way was much simpler. The second way was to kill He Linlin and retrieve the Black Qilin King's Saraira from her body. The High Priestess had chosen the latter. She felt that all the fighting aura in her body was being controlled. She couldn't even move an inch. The High Priest's hand pierced into He Linlin's chest and grabbed the Black Qilin King's Saraira. Together with her heart, the Black Qilin King's Saraira was pulled out from He Linlin's chest. He Linlin's beautiful eyes protruded out like a goldfish's eyes. They gradually turned turbid and finally became the color of death. Dugu Xiu, who was standing behind the High Priest, looked at the scene in horror. The Black Qilin King's Saraira was dug out. There were still traces of blood on it. You killed her. Dugu Xiu did not expect the High Priest to kill her directly. Only by killing her will we be able to carry out our plan. Bring her corpse back and hand it to He Yao. Tell him that she was killed by Yunsheng and Yi Baiming. The High Priest snatched away the Saraira and wiped the blood off his hand. His tone was very calm. It was as if killing He Linlin was as simple as killing an ant to him. Dugu Xiu took a glance at He Linlin, who was lying on the ground. Her eyes were still open. She had an expression of being unable to rest in peace. Blood was still flowing out from her chest. Her death was very terrifying. The High Priest was actually able to kill a martial god like He Linlin with a single hand. Exactly what was his origin? It was only at this moment that Dugu Xiu realized how terrifying the High Priest was. Merely, upon recalling what He Yao had said earlier, Dugu Xiu clenched his teeth. He ordered his subordinates to carry He Linlin's corpse and rush back to the Black Qilin clan. Dugu Xiu could already imagine how furious He Yao would be upon seeing the corpse. Chapter 1379. Somewhere in the skies of the Eight Wastelands, the treasure ship of the Realm of the Gods was flying leisurely. There were no villages in front and no shops at the back. Due to the defensive magic array on the treasure ship, it was very safe in this area. Just like what Dugu Xiu said, Yunsheng was not stupid enough to hide in any Chinese city. She had been staying on the treasure ship of the Realm of the Gods for the past few days. On this mobile stronghold, no beast could catch up with her. Therefore, these days, He Linlin was vomiting blood while Hu Qianqiu was being tormented by the Alliance army like an old dog. On the other hand, Yunsheng was very leisurely. Under the pitch-black starry sky, Yunsheng was leaning in Yi Baiming's arms. The two of them were lying on the deck of the treasure ship and looking at the sky. The breeze was gentle and everything was quiet. Only the whispers between the lovers could be heard. But at this moment, Yi Baiming suddenly suggested to return to the boundless land. We have stayed in the 8 wastelands for long enough. It's time to return to the boundless land. Yi Baiming said. The war is not over yet. I plan to return to the boundless land in half a month. Yunsheng did not agree with Yi Baiming's suggestion. She felt that Yi Baiming was a little strange recently. He seemed to be hiding something from her. Little wild cat, listen to me this time. Return to the boundless land first. Leave the matters here to Boss Pingyu and the others. Yi Baiming thought that with the Ice Fox clan and Boss Pingyu around, it would not be a problem to protect the Chinese. Night Fox, are you hiding something from me? Ever since we returned from the 8 Wastelands Tower, I felt that something was wrong with you. Yunsheng looked at Yi Baiming. The two of them had experienced many life and death situations. Although Yi Baiming had returned the unicorn horn to her, there was an indescribable tacit understanding between the two of them. It was probably because of the enchantment spell. The Yi Baiming that Yunsheng knew was not a talkative man. Most of the time, he liked to hide his words in his heart and only tell her after he solved it himself. Perhaps most men were like this. Seeing Yi Baiming frown the entire night, Yunsheng could sense that Yi Baiming was hiding something in his heart. Seeing Yunsheng staring at him with eyes full of worry and confusion, Yi Baiming's heart slightly rippled. He gently pecked her on the lips, causing Yunsheng to pout. In the past half a month, the two of them had been very close. Yunsheng's initial rejection of these intimate actions had turned to symbolic anger. It was a big change. His little wild cat was sometimes so slow that it made people speechless. Sometimes, she was overly sensitive. I did hide something from you. Actually, I have found a way to break the ancient forbidden spell. That news was told to me by Duguxiu. Yi Baiming held Yunsheng in his arms and nestled in her neck, smelling the faint fragrance of herbs on her body. He had to admit that he had hesitated for a moment after Duguxiu had said those words. You found a way? That's good news. Why didn't you tell me? Yunsheng felt itchy on her neck. She angrily punched Yi Baiming, but the latter took the opportunity to breathe hot air into her ear. You don't want to use that method. Yi Baiming told her about the method that Duguxiu had told him. After he finished, he stared at Yunsheng in amusement. Yunsheng paused for a few seconds. Suddenly, her face turned fierce. What method to break the curse? That damned Yi Xiu. She had thought that he was some respectable ancient powerhouse, but now it seemed that he was just a potential stud horse whose brain had shit in it. He actually wanted the descendant of the Black Qilin to use this method to break the ancient forbidden spell. Damn Duguxiu. It's fine if he's a stud horse himself, but he actually wants to turn you into a stud horse too. Let me tell you, Yi Baiming, if you dare to try. Before she could say the word, try, Yunsheng's lips were engulfed by the man's scorching breath. Her small mouth, which had been grumbling nonstop, was firmly sealed. All that was left was an ambiguous feeling that only the two of them could understand. Yunsheng, I won't betray you. Yi Baiming loosened his mouth reluctantly. God knew how long he had been troubled by this matter. If he had Duguxiu's personality, it would be easy to handle. But in his heart, there had always been only one Yunsheng. And Yunsheng only wanted him to be whole. If he really used this method, although he would break the ancient forbidden spell, there would be a gap between him and Yunsheng forever. Yi Baiming would never allow such a thing to happen. Then don't solve it. There will always be other methods to break the ancient forbidden spell. Yi Baiming released Yunsheng. From his eyes, there was an unquenchable desire. Who asked his little wild cat to look so delicious? Night Fox, am I making things too difficult for you? Yunsheng sighed. She also knew that compared to women, male animals always had less self-control in certain aspects. For you, I am willing to endure hardships. Moreover, I will definitely find other methods. Don't forget, you still have to give birth to a nest of children for me. Yi Baiming comforted her. After hearing Yi Baiming's words, Yunsheng spat. She did not doubt Yi Baiming's words at all. Yi Baiming looked at the blushing Yunsheng and his heart tightened. If what Yushang said was true and he was Yi Xiu, then did that mean that the key to breaking the ancient forbidden spell lay with him? Yi Baiming wanted to return to the Dutian blood realm and find the ancient Qilin tomb again to see if there were any other clues. Moreover, he had a hunch that Yunsheng was not suited to stay in the 8 Desolates mainland for long. The High Priest must have his reasons for collecting the 8 Desolates of Darkness divine weapons again. Most of the 8 Desolates of Darkness divine weapons had already fallen into the High Priest's hands. Only Yunsheng and Yi Baiming still had 1 8 Desolates of Darkness divine weapon each. That's good too. Anyway, the Hua clan has Boss Pingyu, Yun Shuang, and the others for martial arts, and Crane Sound for culture. These people together should not be underestimated. I also plan to send Madame Rulin back to the boundless mainland so that she can meet Mother. Yunqing also breathed a sigh of relief. The two of them decided to bring Madame Rulin, little Yingying, and baby back to the boundless mainland first. Knowing that Yunsheng and Yunsheng were leaving, Lu Yunshuang, Boss Pingyu, Crane Sound, and the others were very reluctant to part with them. All good things must come to an end. Everyone, you are now the mainstays of the Hua clan. As long as the human race, half-beast people, and beast people live in harmony, I believe that the Hua clan will continue to prosper. Yunsheng had stayed in the Eight Desolates mainland for almost a year and had built up deep bonds with these people. However, she was ultimately just a passerby in the Eight Desolates mainland. The few of them said their goodbyes reluctantly. Just as Yunsheng and Yi Baiming were about to leave the treasure ship and return to the boundless mainland with baby, Boss Pingyu received a secret report from his subordinate. When he read the report, his expression changed abruptly. Chapter 1380. Yunsheng caught the change in Boss Peng's expression. Boss Peng, what happened? Why is your expression so bad? Yunsheng paid attention to Boss Peng's actions. Master, the situation isn't good. There are rumors in the outside world that He Yao has led 100,000 Black Qilin elites and summoned the other beast clans of the Eight Wastelands to arrest you and Lord Knight all over the continent. Boss Feather Rock hesitated for a while before finally speaking. This news was spread early in the morning. The Black Qilin tribe's reputation in the Eight Desolates continent was shocking. He Yao personally issued the order. Other than the Nine Luan tribe, the Di clan, the Hua tribe, and the Beaming tribe, many other beast tribes on the continent responded. Especially the Celestial Fox, the Green Hell Wolf, the Ba Serpent, and the Peng tribe who had a grudge with Yunsheng and the others. They also joined He Yao's alliance. They were very powerful and had already searched for the whereabouts of Yunsheng and the others in the Eight Desolates continent. Why did He Yao suddenly want to kill us? This situation doesn't seem right. Yunsheng's expression changed when she heard the news. Although He Yao had always hated her and Yi Baiming, he had never wanted to kill them. Otherwise, if he was forced into a corner, he would have done it in Sky Harmony City. Yunsheng always thought that He Yao's friendship with Yi Baiming wouldn't allow him to kill Yi Baiming. In fact, He Yao did do that. I heard that the young tribe leader of the Black Qilin tribe, He Linlin, was killed. The culprit is, you guys. Boss Ping stammered. This was clearly framing them. Yunsheng and Yi Baiming looked at each other. During these days, after they obtained the city, all the orders and measures were given directly from the Divine World treasured ship. They didn't leave the ship at all. Not to mention He Linlin, they didn't even meet anyone from the Black Qilin tribe. He Linlin is dead. The Black Qilin king's relic is probably in the hands of the culprit. No wonder He Yao went crazy and joined forces with the other four beast tribes to hunt us down. Yi Baiming hadn't expected things to develop to this point. Although He Yao had many children, the only truly outstanding ones were He Linlin and De Guxiu. Among them, He Linlin had grown up with him. Her arrogance was similar to He Yao's, and she was He Yao's favorite child. With He Linlin's death, and the Black Qilin clan losing the Qilin king's relic, it was expected that He Yao would be furious. Master, that He Yao is a madman. He can do anything. We should leave Eight Desolates continent immediately. Bobo urged. Between the Eight Wastelands and the Boundless continent was the Dutian blood world. Unless there was a world deity like Bobo, even He Yao would not be able to cross over in a short period of time. Therefore, leaving the Eight Desolates continent was the safest option. Yunsheng, Bobo is right. You, Madame Rulin, Little Yingying and the others should return to the Boundless continent first. Leave the Black Qilin tribe to me. I will definitely find the person who set us up. Yi Baiming felt that something was amiss. He had fought with He Linlin before. He Linlin had the Black Qilin king's relic. Even he couldn't guarantee that he could kill her. The person who killed He Linlin was definitely not simple. No, I won't leave. Night Fox, I will be wherever you go this time. Yunsheng shook her head. She knew Yi Baiming's concerns very well. He Yao was looking for the two of them. If the two of them left, He Yao would definitely attack the Chinese and the human race in the Eight Desolates continent. Then, all her efforts in the past would be in vain. Yi Baiming wanted to stay behind to stop He Yao's anger and find the real culprit. However, He Yao might not listen to Yi Baiming's explanation now. They had been separated countless times. This time, she definitely couldn't let go of this man's hand. Yi Baiming was at a loss for words. His eyes flashed with complicated emotions. Yi Baiming felt that even if he had thousands of words to say, he couldn't say them. He could only hold Yunsheng's hand tightly and couldn't let go. Master, Qilin boy, if you don't leave, I won't leave either. Bobo also threw a tantrum. Bobo, don't be willful. Once Heiyao strikes, even the treasure ship of the realm of the gods may not be able to stop his anger. Send the powerless little Ying and Madame Rulin back to the boundless continent and into the hands of my parents. Remember, don't tell mother and the rest about what happened here. Yunsheng was most worried about Madame Rulin and the rest. Master, you must be careful. Bobo will immediately come back to find you after sending Madame Rulin and the rest back. Bobo's eyes were red like a rabbit's. She had a feeling that she wouldn't be able to see Master again after leaving this time. Bobo left with Madame Rulin and the rest. Yunsheng and Yi Baiming watched them disappear into the magic array. Master, what should we do next? Boss Pingyu was also very surprised. Yunsheng and Yi Baiming still chose to stay under such circumstances. Boss Pingyu, we have offended Heiyao and may implicate you. If you're afraid, you can leave with your subordinates. Yunsheng gathered everyone on the ship. No, Master, you didn't abandon us. We won't leave either. Although the Chinese people have just been established, all the Chinese people are loyal to you because they respect you, Master. No matter how strong the Black Qilin tribe is, how can they compare to the tens of millions of humans and half-beast men of the Chinese? Boss Pingyu and the people on the ship, including Qincheng, were all unwilling to leave. Since that's the case, let's choose the nearest city and wait for Heiyao's arrival. Yunsheng wasn't willing to hide anymore. What she had to face, she had to face. Whether it was Heiyao or the other beastmen tribes, she, Yunsheng, had never been truly afraid. Yunsheng and Yi Baiming chose Luochuan City, a city of the Beaming tribe, as their temporary base. At the same time, they spread the news and waited for Heiyao's army to arrive. Heiyao hadn't arrived yet, but Yunsheng and the others had already waited for another person. High Priest? Yi Baiming was somewhat wary when he saw the High Priest. The High Priest of the Beast God altar seemed to be everywhere. He was even faster than Heiyao. Long time no see, the two of you don't need to be nervous. I'm not Heiyao's helper. On the contrary, we're here to help the two of you. The High Priest was still wearing a priest robe that covered his face. He looked eerie. The young man and woman in front of him stood together like a pair of jade. Under such circumstances, the two of them didn't leave the Eight Desolates continent and chose to fight Heiyao head-on. The High Priest couldn't help but cast sidelong glances at them. Chapter 1381. Help us? Could it be that the Beast God altar wants to break off relations with the Black Qilin tribe? Yi Baiming sneered. He had never trusted the High Priest. The High Priest had already expected that Yi Baiming wouldn't believe him, so he went straight to the point. I can tell you the location of Heiyao's Mingmen, but in exchange, I want the 8 Desolate Darkness Divine Artifact in your hands. The location of Heiyao's Mingmen? Heiyao was known as the #1 expert in the 8 Desolate Continent. His cultivation was the second strongest in the history of the Black Qilin tribe, second only to the former Black Qilin king Yi Xiu. The Black Qilin tribe had astonishing defensive and offensive power among the 8 great beast tribes. It was rumored that Heiyao had cultivated the immortal Qilin body. Before Yunsheng left the 8 Desolate Tower, the High Priest had already obtained the 8 Desolate Darkness Divine Artifact from the other contestants. Only Yi Baiming, Yunsheng, and especially Yunsheng, who was the last to leave the 8 Desolate Tower, still had the Heavenly Fate Mirror in her hands. Others might not know the use of the Heavenly Fate Mirror, but the High Priest knew. Yunsheng could obtain the Heavenly Fate Mirror, which meant that mirror spirit concubine Ru Shui had either been killed or subdued by her. Therefore, the High Priest was still somewhat wary of Yunsheng, who had the Heavenly Fate Mirror. Yi Baiming and Yunsheng were also secretly considering the authenticity of the High Priest's words. Although this person's actions are strange, he does know a lot of secrets of the Black Qilin tribe. The method to break the ancient forbidden curse that Duguxiu mentioned was also taught to him by the High Priest. Yi Baiming and Yunsheng discussed. The two of them decided to use the 8 Desolate Darkness Divine Artifact in exchange for the method to kill Heiyao. Yi Baiming didn't say anything else and threw the Dark Battle God Halberd to the High Priest. When the High Priest took the Dark Battle God Halberd, his eyes flashed with excitement. The Heavenly Fate Mirror of Darkness is for you. Yunsheng did not hesitate. She took out the Heavenly Fate Mirror from the Beast Language Ring and handed it to the Grand Priest. When the High Priestess received the Heavenly Fate Mirror of Darkness, she was stunned. You killed Ji Ruxiue? In the 8 Wastelands Tower, even the High Priestess couldn't kill the Mirror Spirit, but it was actually killed by Yunsheng? This woman did seem to have some tricks up her sleeves. The High Priest's gaze lingered on Yunsheng's face for a moment, his eyes filled with disgust. Killing or not killing won't affect the divine power of the heavenly fate mirror of darkness. Yunsheng did not comment. She would not tell the high priest that Ji Rumo had devoured Ji Rushue's divine power. The current heavenly fate mirror of darkness had no energy at all. To put it bluntly, it was just an ordinary mirror. However, the high priest shouldn't have noticed this. Since the two of you are straightforward, I will fulfill my promise. Heiyao's life gate is his heart. Every Qilin king can only prevent his resurrection by shattering his heart. On the other hand, even if his Qilin body is destroyed, as long as he has the Qilin heart and the Qilin king's Saraira, he can be resurrected. Heiyao will be here soon. I hope I will be able to see the two of you again in the future. With that, the high priest left with the two treasures. It's the Qilin heart. But it won't be easy to get Heiyao's Qilin heart, Yunsheng mused. Don't worry. As long as we are together, everything can be resolved, Yi Baiming said softly. Rumble. It was as if tens of thousands of horses were galloping past the city gates. Yi Baiming and Yunsheng were both shocked. Heiyao had led over 100,000 soldiers to the city gates outside Luochuan City. This time, Heiyao had come prepared. The Featherpeng tribe's Featherpeng army was circling in the air. On the ground, the Qilin army, Celestial Fox army, Baserpent army, and Viridian Wolf army surrounded Luochuan City from all directions. Yi Baiming, Yunsheng, you bastards who don't know what's good for you, come out. Heiyao was clad in a battle helmet. His face was so cold it could freeze into ice. Hatred had swallowed up everything in his heart. When Duguxiu brought He Linlin's body back, her eyes were bulging in shock. There was a bloody hole in her chest. Her heart and the Qilin king's Saraira were both gone. Based on Duguxiu's one-sided statement, Heiyao wouldn't have believed that He Linlin had died at the hands of Yi Baiming and Yunsheng. However, he also knew that He Linlin's defense was very high. If the other party didn't have a divine weapon, they wouldn't have been able to kill her in one move. Duguxiu had already said that the battle god halberd of the boundless world's 8 barons' divine weapon had fallen into his and Yi Baiming's hands. Yi Baiming had the right hand. He questioned his subordinates again. Everyone's answers confirmed that it was indeed Yi Baiming and Yunsheng's plan to lure He Linlin into the city alone. By the time they arrived, He Linlin had already died. Heiyao hated Yi Baiming and Yunsheng. They had even shattered He Linlin's heart and taken away the Black Qilin king's Saraira. Even among the Black Qilin tribe, only a small number of people knew the importance of the Qilin heart and the Saraira. Using the energy of the Qilin heart and the Saraira, a Black Qilin could be revived. However, if the heart was shattered and the Saraira was lost, there would be no chance of reviving He Linlin. Despite the Black Qilin army's pressure, Luochuan City was peaceful. There were no city guards on the city walls, and the city gates were wide open. Upon closer inspection, Heiyao and the others realized that Luochuan City had long become an empty city. It turned out that when Yunsheng and Yi Baiming chose Luochuan City as their base, they had already ordered Boss Peng and the others to move all the citizens to other cities. Now, there were only a few people in the huge city. At this moment, the sound of a zither could be heard from the city walls. Heiyao and the others looked over and almost fainted from anger. On the city walls, there were only 2 people, one standing and one standing. It was a woman and a man. The woman was dressed in white, like the most beautiful cloud in the sky. The man was dressed in black, like a lone eagle chasing after the clouds. Beside the woman was a zither table, and on the zither table was a phoenix head zither. Her fingertips landed on the zither, and the sound of the zither flowed gently like flowing water. The man held a wine pot in his hand and drank the wine leisurely. This scene did not look like a battle at all. It was more like a pair of lovers playing the zither and drinking wine under the setting sun. They looked happy and harmonious. The man and woman were clearly Yunsheng and Yi Baiming. Such a leisurely scene made the situation that was on the verge of eruption become strange. In particular, the people from the beast tribes were all shocked. Could it be that Yunsheng and Yi Baiming were scared silly? In front of the murderous Heiyao, they could still be so leisurely. Chapter 1382. What a pair of dogs. You killed my daughter, and you're still drinking and playing the zither. Today, I, Heiyao, swear to kill you. Heiyao's eyes were filled with blood. He had turned into a vengeful god from hell. Why? He had even asked He Linlin to compromise and accept that bastard from the heavenly fox tribe. However, this pair of bastards in front of him had killed his most beloved daughter. He Linlin's heart was destroyed, and the Qilin king's relic was taken away. She had no chance of coming back to life. Yunsheng pressed the zither string, and the music stopped. Heiyao, what He Linlin or Bai Linlin? It has nothing to do with us. Your daughter is unreasonable and has enemies everywhere. If you want to slander us, you should do a thorough investigation first. Yunqing pursed her lips, but Yi Baiming, who was beside her, smiled faintly and hugged his little wild cat in his arms. At a time like this, the only person who would still be interested in shooting her mouth off was his little wild cat. How dare you quibble? Linlin's Qilin King's relic can't be taken away by normal people. Only Yi Baiming can summon it. He Yao stood in the air, facing off against Yunsheng and Yi Baiming. He already knew that his daughter He Linlin wasn't the one chosen by the Qilin King's relic, so he used an ancient method to keep the Qilin King's relic in He Linlin's body. He Yao, there's no point in talking. Since you're sure that we killed her, we have nothing to say. Yi Baiming's expression was cold. He didn't have time to find out who killed He Linlin. He only knew that He Yao kept calling them dogs and bitches. He was very unhappy that He Yao insulted his woman. That's right, Patriarch He Yao. This pair of bastards, the woman is cunning and the man is heartless. Why do you have to talk to them? You don't have to deal with them personally. The leader of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qianqiu, also jumped out. It had only been a month, but Hu Qianqiu had aged a lot. His originally elegant and handsome face was now filled with wrinkles. Not only that, but there were also people in the Celestial Fox tribal nation who were clamoring for him to step down. All of this was thanks to Yunsheng. In Hua cities, Celestial Fox tribe was the first to be affected. Almost all the humans, 2/3 of the half-orcs and 1/3 of the Celestial Fox tribe declared their independence from the Celestial Fox tribe. He was very busy, but he still couldn't stop the division of the Celestial Fox tribe. All of this was caused by Yunsheng. That's right, Patriarch Darklight. We're enough. Peng Wanli, Qin Yan, and Qi Zhanfeng also stood out. They were not willing to let Hu Qianqiu steal the limelight. Yunsheng and Yi Baiming had seized many of their cities. They had long been itching to tear the two of them into pieces. Seeing that the two of them were alone and had no reinforcements, it was the best time to strike. Since that's the case, then I'll have to trouble you, Patriarchs. Darklight said coldly. Patriarchs, you should split into two groups. 2 against Yi Baiming, 2 against that Celestial Fox bastard. Darklight secretly thought that Yi Baiming was much stronger than Yunsheng. But to be safe, it was better to have 2 against 1. No, Patriarchs, don't worry. That Celestial Fox bastard is from our Celestial Fox tribe. I can deal with him alone. Hu Qianqiu also gnashed his teeth in hatred towards Yunsheng. He was the Patriarch of the Celestial Fox tribe. To deal with the Celestial Fox bastard, he had to join forces with the other Patriarchs. If news of this spread out, where would his reputation as the Patriarch of the Celestial Fox people be? Then we'll do as Patriarch Hu said. Let's split into 2 groups. Everyone, let's kill that brat together. The other Patriarchs also shouted and flew into the sky. Little wild cat, go easy on him. Yi Baiming winked at Yunsheng. His meaning was that he was not worried about Yunsheng at all. His tone was clearly sad for Hu Qianqiu. You too, go easy on him. Yunsheng smiled. Darklight did not expect that the two of them would still be flirting at this critical moment. He could make a move at any time. At this moment, he only needed to watch from the side. Kill. As soon as Yi Baiming and Yunsheng separated, the gentleness in their eyes disappeared. A trace of coldness flashed past, as if they were 2 different people. The 3 patriarchs also knew that Yi Baiming's strength was not to be underestimated. Patriarch Qin Yan roared towards the sky. His body suddenly expanded, and his 4 limbs turned into thick wolf limbs. A blood crescent blade appeared in his hand. The Ba Serpent clan leader transformed into a giant snake the size of a wooden barrel. It swept its tail towards Yi Baiming. Under Peng Wanli's command, the arrows in the hands of the Peng Feather warriors whistled as they shot towards Yi Baiming. Insignificant skill. Qilin battle chi surged in Yi Baiming's body. Immediately, a battle armor appeared on the surface of his body. Once the battle armor appeared, the rain of arrows and attacks were completely ineffective. That is? Darklight's pupils shrank. The armor on Yi Baiming's body was the demon god armor that Yunsheng had used the divine lotus fire to forge for him. The armor was as light as a feather. It would only appear when needed. Super Spacetime Spell, Reversal of Heaven and Earth. Yi Baiming's demon god armor appeared. A wave of magic surged out in front of him like an angry wave. The rain of arrows paused in midair, then suddenly changed direction and shot towards the Peng Feather race. The Peng Feather race was caught off guard. Countless Peng Feather race warriors were pierced by the sharp arrows and fell from the sky. What? The 3 patriarchs were shocked, and even He Yao's expression changed slightly. Magic. Everyone thought that Yi Baiming was only a warrior. No one knew that he was a terrifying magician. Super Spacetime Spell. Yi Baiming's talent in magic was probably comparable to his martial talent. Battle Energy Blades. After forcing back the Peng Feather Race army, countless battle energy blades whistled around Yi Biming like a terrible storm from hell. 2 battle energy swords appeared in his hands. With a shake of the swords, 2 sword shadows flashed. His body moved, whistling as he transformed into a gust of wind. Countless sword shadows swung wildly in the sky like countless poisonous snakes pouncing on the Ba Serpent Patriarch. Qi Zhanfeng, the Ba Serpent Patriarch, was cut into several pieces. Blood spurted out of his body like raindrops. "Bastard!" Patriarch Qin Yen roared. His body turned into a bolt of lightning as he pounced on Yi Biming. The 2 figures were entangled with each other in the sky. "Yi Biming! If only you hadn't killed Lin Lin." Darklight's eyes were filled with shock and regret as he watched Yi Biming gradually gain the upper hand in the sky. He knew that the 3 patriarchs couldn't stop Yi Biming. A dual cultivator of magic and martial arts. Such a Yi Biming could be considered the true successor of the Black Qilin tribe. Chapter 1383. He Yao clenched his fists, his heart throbbing with pain. But when he thought of how Yi Biming killed his daughter, He Linlin, and disobeyed him, his heart sank bit by bit. "Die!" With a thunderous roar, Patriarch Qin Yan's body was split into 2 and fell heavily to the ground. "It's your turn." Yi Biming's eyes turned cold as he pointed his finger at He Yao. The blood of the 3 patriarchs had yet to dry on his hand. Yi Biming's provocative gaze caused the blood in He Yao's body to turn cold. "Hee, before you challenge me, shouldn't you take a look at your woman's condition?" He Yao was so angry that he laughed. Could it be? Yi Biming's eyes flashed as he looked up at the sky. The battle between Yunsheng and Hu Qianqiu was much harder than Yi Biming and Yunsheng had imagined. "Little bastard, I really regret letting you join the Celestial Fox tribe. You're the same as Hu Xing, the shame of the Celestial Fox tribe." Hu Qianqiu glared hatefully at Yunsheng. This woman, who looked exactly like his own daughter, had come to the Heavenly Fox tribe. She was a nightmare to him. "I'll return those words to you word for word. Hu Qianqiu, I've seen many men, including many shameless ones, but it's my first time seeing one as despicable and shameless as you. You don't deserve to be Hu Xing's father." Yunsheng looked at Hu Qianqiu and felt indignant for Hu Xing and Madame Rulin. "Humph, she's just a piece of trash. If it wasn't for her, you wouldn't have come to the Celestial Fox tribe. If I'd known, I would have killed her myself. She's a stain on my life." Hu Qianqiu spat. "Old man, I'll make you pay for what you said." Yunsheng was thoroughly enraged by Hu Qianqiu's words. "Price? You won't have the chance. Although you and I are both 7-tailed celestial fox, you are much weaker than me." Hu Qianqiu said proudly. Behind him, 7 fox tails appeared. "I am the true celestial fox, a pure-blooded celestial fox. I will let you experience my 7-tailed inheritance, Fox King possession. This is the true celestial fox inheritance." Hu Qianqiu suddenly let out a series of fox howls. Hu Qianqiu's appearance changed. His originally refined face grew hair. Oh no, there's something special about his inheritance. Yunxing knew that something was wrong. She drew a few summoning circles in her hand. Xiao He and the Elven Queen appeared. These days, in order to help Boss Pingyu guard the many cities, Yunxing sent out the Night Demon Queen and the Queen of Shade. Now, she only had 2 magical beasts by her side. He originally thought that it was enough to deal with Hu Qianqiu, but he did not expect that Hu Qianqiu still had a hidden move. "Haha, what do you think these trashy magical beasts can do to me?" Hu Qianqiu's body was still changing. His body was like a gust of wind, constantly changing his position in the air. He nimbly dodged Xiao He and the Elven Queen's attacks again and again. So fast. Yunsheng was awestruck. Space-time prohibition. The magic scepter in Yunsheng's hand emitted a gray magic light. Hu Qianqiu only felt the surrounding wind suddenly stop blowing. His feet seemed to be bound by something. That damned little bee asterisk starred, he actually knew such a high-level magic. Hu Qianqiu, who was restrained by the space-time prohibition, slowed down a little. "Little bastard, so what if you are a dual summoner and magician? It's too late." At this moment, Hu Qianqiu burst out laughing. "Fox King possession, I will let you see the true strength of the celestial fox." Hu Qianqiu had already disappeared. He had turned into a celestial fox the size of a small mountain. That celestial fox had a total of 7 tails, a crown-shaped mark on its forehead, and a body full of silver-gray fur. The Fox King's aura caused the surrounding air to tense up. Xiao He and the Elven Queen also felt some pressure, and couldn't help but slow down a lot. Hu Qianqiu always had a submissive look in front of others. Yunxing didn't expect that he actually had such a terrifying celestial fox inheritance. Speaking of which, Hu Qianqiu's celestial fox inheritance was somewhat similar to the celestial fox of the mixed celestial fox mare that Yunxing had seen earlier. It was just that Hu Qianqiu was a seven-tailed celestial fox. Compared to the celestial fox mayor, his bloodline and strength were many times higher. He didn't just summon the Fox King, but directly possessed the celestial Fox King. It was as if the Fox King possessed him, and its power was astonishing. The Fox King circled around the entire Luochuan city, and the seven tails stirred up the clouds in the sky. I didn't expect that old man Hu Qianqiu to have such ability. When He Yao saw the scene, he couldn't help but be secretly shocked. He had looked down on Hu Qianqiu earlier, but he didn't expect that Hu Qianqiu's celestial fox inheritance would be so powerful. Yi Baiming couldn't help but frown. Hu Qianqiu's strength seemed to be stronger than the other patriarchs, but he was actually the strongest among the patriarchs, second only to He Yao. No wonder he took the initiative to ask to fight Yunqing alone. It seemed that he had to speed up. Yi Baiming's expression changed. Without hesitation, he slid his feet and charged towards He Yao. Hu Qianqiu, who was possessed by the Fox King, was even faster. Its defense was even more shocking. Yunqing used several magic attacks, but it didn't even hurt a single strand of its fur. The earth quakes and the mountain sway. Bastard, die. Hu Qianqiu stomped down and kicked the city walls of Luochuan City. Following its roar, countless lightning flashed in the sky and formed lightning, rolling towards Yunqing and her magical beasts. Boom 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 boom, water magic, mist concealment. After the water spirit queen chanted, Yunqing's surroundings instantly turned into a vast expanse of white. Just a mere water magic, and you want to stop this patriarch? Dream on. Hu Qianqiu laughed maniacally. It swallowed like a whale and swallowed the fog into its stomach. Damn it. This guy is so troublesome. Yunqing couldn't help but feel depressed. Her Millennium Ice Zither was already destroyed. Otherwise, she could use the divine melody to help her. Right now, I can only fight with brute force. I don't believe that Hu Qianqiu really has an indestructible body. Yunqing's golden eyes flashed as she stared at Hu Qianqiu. Between her hands, several strands of magic power intertwined together, forming a magic lightning vortex in each hand. Go! 2 lightning vortexes, carrying a crackling magic power, charged towards the Fox King Hu Qianqiu. Ao, Hu Qianqiu was hit by the 2 lightning vortexes. Instantly, his skin and flesh split open. A burnt smell came from his abdomen. When he looked at his abdomen, blood was flowing nonstop. Bastard, you'll regret what you've done. Hu Qianqiu swallowed. His eyes were red from killing. Countless celestial fox warriors were sucked into his stomach. Every time he swallowed a person, his body would expand a little. The wounds on his body would also quickly heal. Chapter 1384. What sorcery was this? When Yunqing saw the scene, her eyes were filled with astonishment. Fox King possession was the highest inheritance of Hu Qianqiu's 7 tails. But looking at it now, it looked more like a sorcery. In order to defeat Yunqing, Hu Qianqiu did not hesitate to devour his own people. Bastard, although the blood on your body is a little dirty, but your strength is not bad. Take a guess, if I devour you, will my strength reach 8 tails? Or even higher? Hu Qianqiu spat out his scarlet tongue, his face still unsatisfied. The strength of these celestial fox warriors was too weak. In terms of strength, no one could compare to Yunqing. Although the 7-tailed celestial fox was a mixed breed, her strength was indeed very strong. Come, little bastard, today, you will become my Fox King's meal. Meal? Yunqing's eyes narrowed, looking at the Fox King Hu Qianqiu, who was still expanding. Yunqing looked at the expanding Hu Qianqiu and suddenly had an idea. Perhaps, she could really let Hu Qianqiu devour her. A bold idea flashed past. Yunqing made a decision in her heart. A human's heart was not as good as a snake trying to swallow an elephant. She wondered what would happen when the evil Fox King met the celestial fox relic. Although the Fox King's strength was strong, it was an evil path. Relying on devouring to strengthen oneself, the effect was the same as devouring the celestial fox's heart to strengthen one's strength. As you wish. Yunqing's body charged straight into the Fox King's mouth that was still absorbing the celestial fox warriors. The Fox King Hu Qianqiu did not expect that Yunqing would actually seek her own death. Before he could react, Yunqing had already charged into his mouth. As soon as the celestial fox relic entered the body of the Fox King Hu Qianqiu, an awe-inspiring and pure celestial fox energy immediately filled the celestial fox's body. The power of the celestial fox is indeed delicious. Little bastard, your strength will all belong to me. Hu Qianqiu could feel that the power in his body was increasing. Fox King's body was also constantly expanding. This feeling was indescribably wonderful. Your woman has been devoured, yet you're still indifferent? Obsidian was shocked to see this scene. From the looks of it, Yunsheng's actions were akin to suicide. Unlike you, He Yao, my woman is not a daughter. She has the strength to match mine. She will definitely win. Yi Baiming was surprised for a moment, but he quickly regained his composure. His eyes were full of confidence. He believed that Yunsheng must have her reasons for doing this. After Hu Qianqiu devoured Yunsheng, Hu Qianqiu quickly realized that something was wrong. Fox King Hu Qianqiu only felt that there was a volcanic eruption of power rolling in his body. When the purest celestial fox energy sensed the evil aura on Fox King's body, it became irritable and restless. This energy fluctuation, could it be? Celestial fox. Relic, no. When he realized the power in his body, Hu Qianqiu's eyes suddenly bulged. Celestial fox smoke was famous for abhorring evil. If her celestial fox relic was in his body, almost at the same time, Yunsheng also released the magic power in her body. Hu Qianqiu's body was like a balloon that had been blown up and exploded in the sky. The huge rock in Yi Baiming's heart instantly fell to the ground, and a smile appeared on his face. His little wild cat was indeed not to be bullied. The energy fluctuation made He Yao narrow his eyes slightly. If he wasn't wrong, the energy that caused Hu Qianqiu's body to explode was actually a celestial fox relic? He Yao didn't expect the situation to take such a sudden turn. Wasn't it said that the celestial fox tribe couldn't find the celestial fox relic? Why would a celestial fox relic suddenly appear in the body of that little celestial fox bastard? After killing Hu Qianqiu, Yunsheng immediately retreated to Yi Baiming's side. The two smiled at each other, only trust and indifference in each other's eyes. Even though they both knew that He Yao in front of them was much harder to deal with than the four tribal patriarchs combined. Whoosh, Yi Baiming and Yunsheng attacked one after another, killing the clan leaders of the four major beast clans. The armies of the four major beast clans were instantly thrown into disarray. Some of the more cowardly warriors had already started to flee. He Yao snorted when he saw all this. It seems that I've underestimated you all. He Yao, you've always been headstrong and self-opinionated. You've never cared about anyone else. That was true for Li Qingcheng, and it's the same for us now. Yi Baiming looked at He Yao. He had to admit that He Yao had his strengths. The Dark Qilin army behind him was still strictly disciplined and didn't stir at all. Shut up, you bastard. You don't deserve to mention Qingcheng in front of me. Yi Baiming, I've tolerated you many times because of your mother. Let me ask you again, are you willing to acknowledge me as your father and inherit the position of tribal patriarch? He Yao questioned Yi Baiming. Since we've reached this stage, I'll tell you the truth. You're not my father, and Li Qingcheng isn't my mother. I, Yi Baiming, have nothing to do with you. Yi Baiming looked coldly at He Yao. He Yao's eyes widened a few degrees. He staggered back a few steps as if he had been stabbed with a knife. He looked dazed. What did you say? That's impossible. You're clearly the son of Qingcheng and Dark Qilin blood flows in your body. He Yao, as a father, don't you feel at all whether he's your biological son or not? Empress Li told us all this herself. Yunsheng looked at Yi Baiming worriedly when she saw He Yao's expression. Personally? You're saying that Qingcheng is still alive? Tell me, where is she? He Yao's eyes focused again. He rushed forward and grabbed Yi Baiming, questioning him crazily. For so many years, he had always thought that Li Qingcheng was dead. She's already dead, and I'm not your son. Yi Baiming hesitated. He's not wrong. He's not your son. He Yao, do you want to know who he is? If you want to know, come to Sky Harmony City with Yi Baiming. Just as Yi Baiming and He Yao were confronting each other, a figure appeared in the sky above Luochuan City like a black cloud. The high priest was like a giant bat. His cold voice echoed in the sky. High priest? Yi Baiming and He Yao's expressions changed. At this moment, Yi Baiming's expression changed slightly. He spat out a sentence with difficulty. Yunsheng, I have to go to Sky Harmony City. Yi Baiming's words shocked Yunsheng. When she regained her senses, Yi Baiming's figure suddenly disappeared before everyone's eyes. Night Fox. Yunsheng's face turned pale. At this moment, He Yao's expression changed again. He felt that someone had barged into the Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds. Chapter 1385. Sky Harmony City, Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds. Duguxiu and the High Priestess arrived before the Forbidden Grounds. The Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds was an ancient stone tomb. In order to enter the tomb, one had to pass through 9 stone doors. Each door had a special magic seal. If one was careless, the mechanism would be activated. The ancestral tablets of the Black Qilin patriarchs were enshrined in the Forbidden Grounds. Ancient magic arrays were set up here. Xiao had only been here once under He Yao's lead when he returned to the Black Qilin Patriarch. After He Yao learned of He Linlin's death, he was furious. He led an army of 100,000 Black Qilin Patriarchs to besiege Luochuan City. He Yao had planned to bring Xiao with him and let him be the vanguard. However, Xiao said that Sky Harmony City was defenseless and needed someone to guard it. He Yao thought that Xiao was unwilling to lay his hands on Yunsheng. He scolded him, useless thing. Then, he left with his army. After He Yao left, the High Priestess and Xiao entered the Forbidden Grounds. Xiao didn't know why the High Priestess wanted to enter the Forbidden Grounds. However, what surprised him was that the High Priestess was able to deactivate the ancient magic arrays. Even He Yao had to spend a lot of effort to control them. This is the last door. The High Priestess stood in front of the stone door and looked at it. After the High Priestess deactivated the last magic array, the stone door creaked and the heavy stone door slowly opened. Do you know what's behind the last stone door? The High Priestess suddenly asked. The empty tomb of the Qilin King from ancient times. Xiao had heard of it from He Yao. The Black Qilin graveyard was an empty tomb to commemorate the Black Qilin King's relic that had died in the Boundless Continent. The real Black Qilin King's corpse was still in the Eight Desolates continent. Is that so? So that's what the later generations said. The High Priestess let out a strange laugh. Xiao looked at the High Priestess suspiciously. You've been following us for so long. Come out. Just as the High Priestess and Xiao were about to enter the stone door, the High Priestess suddenly stopped. Yushang and the Great Witch Doctor walked out. Seeing the two of them, Xiao was very surprised. Who are you? Why did you barge into the Black Qilin King's forbidden grounds? After meeting Yi Baiming at the Celestial Fox Palace, Yushang had done everything she could to find clues to prove that Yi Baiming was the reincarnation of the Black Qilin King Yixiu. Finally, she remembered that there might be a clue in the Qilin's forbidden land. Hu Yushang, I didn't expect you to be so stupid after being reborn. The High Priest snorted. Yushang's expression turned strange. It's you. Are you Yixiu's shadow? Shadow? Ha ha ha, that's right. After so many years, I'm just a shadow in the eyes of the world. I don't have a name or an identity. I didn't think anyone would still remember me. The High Priest laughed sinisterly and took off his priest robe. Xiao, Yushang, and the Grand Magus Doctor exclaimed when they saw the High Priestess. It was a person? Merely, his face was riddled with holes. His appearance had been destroyed by someone. As Yixiu's shadow, why are you still alive when he's dead? Yushang looked at the High Priest in disbelief. The so-called shadow was Yixiu's closest shadow guard. He'd been with Yixiu since birth and never left his side. Under certain circumstances, the shadow would even act as Yixiu's substitute. After Yushang's reminder, everyone realized that the High Priest's body shape and voice were similar to Yixiu's. If not for Hu Yen, the Patriarch wouldn't have died. The High Priest's hatred flared when he mentioned Hu Yen. The relationship between the High Priest and Yixiu was very well hidden. Even Hu Yen and Hu Yushang had only found out about it last. There's a legend in the Black Qilin tribe that if twins appear, it means bad luck. A Qilin is the elder brother, and a Qilin is the younger brother. Qilins are auspicious beasts, while Qilins are beasts of calamity. The elder brother brings hope, while the younger brother brings disaster and disease. The High Priest fell into deep thought. He also brought everyone present to a certain night thousands of years ago. That night, the Patriarch's wife gave birth to a pair of identical twins. Due to the ancient teachings of the Qilin tribe, the birth of twins would bring misfortune to the tribe. In order to keep this a secret, the Patriarch's wife killed the witch doctor who delivered the twins that night. Even the witch doctor's maid was killed on the spot. The Patriarch's wife originally wanted to kill the younger twin, but just as she was about to do so, the elder brother, Yixiu, started crying. The Patriarch's wife was afraid that others would find out, so she could only destroy the younger twin's face and secretly abandon him outside the home of a couple who didn't know about it. The Patriarch's wife originally thought that the child would disappear forever just like that. However, she neglected the fact that the child was the same as Yixiu. They both had the bloodline of the Black Qilin King. Even though he was born into an ordinary, poor family, he gradually revealed his talent. However, unlike Yixiu, his talent in magic was superior. However, due to his appearance, he lived a very humble life. Perhaps it was fate, but when the two brothers were 9 years old, Yixiu went out to hunt and coincidentally met his younger brother, who later became the Shadow. The two became very good friends. Yixiu didn't mind his ugly appearance and kept his nameless brother by his side as his personal guard. However, when Yixiu brought his nameless brother back to the Black Qilin tribe, the patriarch's wife recognized at a glance that this so-called personal guard was the twin brother she had abandoned back then. In order to prevent the matter from being exposed, the patriarch's wife captured him. Only then did the high priest know his identity. The patriarch's wife also discovered the high priest's talent in magic. At the same time, Yishio wasn't willing to let this trusted aide who was like his own brother leave. Helpless, the patriarch's wife threatened him with the lives of his adoptive parents, forcing him to never tell Yishio the truth. Although the high priest hated the patriarch's wife, he had deep feelings for his elder brother, Yishio. In the end, he promised the patriarch's wife that he would never betray Yishio. The high priest had always followed Yishio. The two of them grew from youths to heroic men. Seeing the unparalleled Yishio gradually become the #1 expert among the Bakra orcs, although the high priest was occasionally envious, he was still happy for his elder brother from the bottom of his heart. Together, the two of them conquered territory after territory for the prosperity of the Black Qilin tribe. All of this changed because of Hu Yan's appearance. Yishio betrayed the friendship between us brothers. For that woman, he even forgot the oath we made to unify the Qilin tribe. The high priest, who was immersed in his memories, suddenly changed his expression and his eyes were filled with hatred. Chapter 1386. Celestial Fox People. Long Hu Yan was an extraordinary woman. Even Hu Yushang, who had always been jealous of Hu Yan, had to admit this point. The meeting of Hu Yan and Yishio was a beautiful story in the eyes of some people, but in the eyes of others, it was an ill-fated relationship. Hu Yan was free, and Yishio was unruly. Both of them were top geniuses among the Bakra orcs of their time. However, these two geniuses did not have any sparks in their early days. They only met once when they were 13 or 14 years old, but it was just a fleeting glimpse. It was only until the two of them participated in the Bahuang tribe competition that year. In that Bahuang tribe competition, Yishio and Hu Yan clashed from the start of the competition. In the final core competition, Yishio and Hu Yan fought for 7 days and 7 nights until one of them ran out of magic power and the other ran out of battle chi. Finally, they fought to a draw. At that time, there were rumors that Yishio and Hu Yan would become mortal enemies. However, in the end, Yishio took a fancy to Hu Yan. No matter where Hu Yan went, Yishio would appear there. Initially, Hu Yan was very repulsed, but as time passed, Hu Yan also fell in love with Yishio. It was because of this that the high priest's eyes were filled with venomous hatred when he mentioned Hu Yan. That kind of hatred made everyone present feel a chill in their bones. The high priest and Yishio in their youth could be said to be inseparable. At that time, everyone in the Black Qilin tribe knew that Yishio had a shadow. Although that shadow's appearance was unknown, he was the person closest to Yishio. However, everything changed after Yishio met Celestial Fox People Long Hu Yan. Beside Yishio, Hu Yan appeared. She was afraid of death and did not dare to fight with the humans. She even advised Yishio to coexist peacefully with the humans. Bah, bastards like the humans can only be slaves. The high priest snorted coldly. Once a conflict arose, it was like a prairie fire. Yishio also died in the hands of the humans because of that woman. However, all of this is in the past. After thousands of years of waiting, this day has finally come. The great Qilin king Yishio is finally returning to the world. The high priest's face was full of excitement after he finished speaking. It's been a few thousand years. Since you're Yishio's shadow, why are you still alive? Although Yushang had also died once, she couldn't help but feel a little afraid when she saw the crazy high priest. It's not just your celestial fox tribe that has the miraculous spell to resurrect people from the dead. For thousands of years, I've been relying on seizing other people's bodies to survive. The goal is to revive Yishio. The high priest's ugly face was filled with madness. He had been waiting for this day for thousands of years. His most respected brother, his only master, Yishio, was finally coming back. How is that possible? Yishio has already been revived. Your last disciple is Yishio. If Yi Baiming wasn't Yishio, how could he be so similar to the Black Qilin king of the past? That kid isn't Yishio. Back then, Yishio used part of the Black Qilin king's relic to condense a Qilin holy infant. He inherited Yishio's extraordinary talent and physical body, but he isn't Yishio. If you want him to become a true Yishio, he must merge with 2 more things. One of them is the Qilin king's heart in his hand. The statue in the high priest's hand made a crisp sound. The soil on the surface peeled off, revealing a bloody heart inside. Even after thousands of years, the heart was still beating faintly. After Yishio's death, the high priest was disheartened. He wanted to follow Yishio several times, but he accidentally discovered in the history books of the Black Qilin tribe that the Qilin king's heart and the Qilin king's relic could revive the ancient Qilin king. Therefore, he secretly hid Yi Xiu's heart. Unfortunately, he couldn't find the Qilin King's relic. The high priest didn't give up. He kept waiting. He waited for the Black Qilin King's relic to descend. He waited for thousands of years until He Linlin found the Black Qilin King's relic in the Dutian blood realm. The high priest also found out that the Black Qilin King's relic had been drawn out by a human martial practitioner. Just as he was investigating the human martial practitioner's identity, Yi Baiming appeared. The high priest discovered that he possessed part of the Qilin King's relic's power from his aura. Yi Baiming was the future successor that the Qilin King had condensed using his own relic's power. In that case, we only need to merge the Qilin King's heart and the Qilin King's relic into Yi Baiming's body? Yu Shang understood the high priest's meaning. Yi Baiming will become Yi Xiu. Only then will Yi Xiu be revived. The high priest didn't enter the Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds immediately because he was waiting for Yi Baiming's return. He knew that when the Qilin Forbidden Grounds opened and the Qilin King's heart and relic appeared, Yi Baiming, as the Qilin Holy Infant, would definitely respond and rush back. That was because his body instinctively called out to him. He must have felt the call of the Qilin King's heart and relic. In a certain part of the sky of the Eight Desolates continent. What's in the Qilin Forbidden Grounds? On the Divine World treasure ship, Yunsheng and He Yao stood on opposite sides. Due to Yi Baiming's abnormal behavior and sudden departure, Yunsheng and He Yao stopped fighting for the time being. Although He Yao wasn't in the Sky Harmony City, he had sensed that the magic array of the Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds had been activated by someone in the Sky Harmony City. With Du Guxiu guarding the Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds, no one should be able to barge in. He Yao tried to contact Du Guxiu, but there was no response. He Yao knew that something must have happened in Sky Harmony City. I don't have the obligation to answer you. He Yao originally wanted to use the magic array or teleport back to Sky Harmony City, but at this time, Yunsheng suggested that they use the Divine World treasure ship to rush to Sky Harmony City. Although he was very unwilling to cooperate with Yunsheng, after weighing the pros and cons, He Yao decided to compromise for the time being. Seeing that He Yao was so uncooperative, Yunsheng's frown deepened. What was wrong with the Night Fox? Yunsheng had never seen Yi Baiming acting so abnormally before. Moreover, after Yi Baiming left, Yunsheng felt that the Celestial Fox relic in her body was unusually active. The Celestial Fox relic let out a cry from time to time. She could predict that something must have happened in Sky Harmony City, and the Celestial Fox relic was warning them. No matter what, they had to rush to Sky Harmony City as soon as possible. Yunsheng's heart thumped, and an unprecedented sense of danger welled up in her heart. Chapter 1387. The treasure ship of the Divine Realm flew above Sky Harmony City. The once prosperous Sky Harmony City was now shrouded in a huge shadow. Wails of agony could be heard in the city. The entire city was like a ghost prison. What is that? Yunsheng and He Yao both saw this scene. It's the magic array of the Forbidden Ground. Someone is using the magic array to revive. What is that? The energy of the Qilin King's relic. He Yao had a dark expression on his face along the way. He finally spoke when he sensed a familiar aura coming from the Qilin Forbidden Land. There was a magic array left behind by the ancient Qilin in the Forbidden Ground of the Qilin. It was rumored that as long as one gathered the heart of the Qilin race and the Qilin King's relic, they would be able to revive someone. Could it be that their daughter, He Linlin, wasn't killed by Yunsheng and Yi Baiming? Quick, we have to go in as soon as possible. The ominous feeling in Yunsheng's heart grew stronger and stronger. The two of them temporarily put aside their enmity and jumped off the treasure ship toward the Forbidden Ground of the Qilin. Inside the Forbidden Ground of the Qilin. What did you do to my body? Yi Baiming, the high priest, and the others were in a stalemate. Since yesterday, Yi Baiming felt as if he had lost control of his body. He was forced to abandon Yunsheng and rush to Sky Harmony City alone. He could feel that there was something controlling him from within. Only when he reached the Forbidden Ground of the Qilin did he realize that the control came from the Forbidden Ground of the Qilin. Yi Baiming, I'm not controlling you. It's the energy in your body that belongs to the Black Qilin King Yeshio that's calling you. As the Holy Infant, from the moment you were born, you were destined to take on the responsibility of reviving Yeshio. Behind the high priest was an ancient magic array. Within the magic array, the Qilin King's relic and the Qilin heart were emitting powerful energy. The high priest, Great Witch Doctor, Yu Shang, and Du Guxiu were channeling the energy in their bodies into the ancient magic array. Activating an ancient magic array required a large amount of energy. This was why the high priestess needed the help of Du Guxiu, Yu Shang, and the others. What **T Holy Infant? I don't understand what you're talking about. Yi Baiming forcefully stopped himself from moving forward. Come. As long as you enter that ancient magic array, you can completely become a night elementalist and become the most powerful person on the continent. The high priest's voice was like a poisonous snake, but also as alluring as honey. As long as you become a night elementalist, you won't have to fear obsidian anymore. You can call the wind and summon the rain in the mortal world and fulfill the wish that you couldn't fulfill thousands of years ago. Counterattack the boundless world and avenge the Bakra orcs. The high priest chanted. As the high priest chanted, ancient images appeared before Yi Baiming. Thousands of years ago, in the Dutian blood realm, the warriors of the human race and the beast race fought fiercely. At the last moment, the 8 Baron divine weapon appeared, and the entire sky was dyed red with blood. Countless beasts were killed, and their heads fell from the sky like stones. The Qilin King Yishio screamed in pain. His mountain-like body was hit by several divine weapons and fell down. Revenge. You must avenge me. Yi Baiming's eyes were bloodshot. Yi Baiming's blood was boiling. Every muscle in his body was screaming as he walked forward step by step. He seemed to feel that he had become a night elementalist. His hatred for the human race and his desire for power were devouring his consciousness bit by bit. His body seemed to become a shell. You are not a night elementalist. You are Yi Baiming. My Yi Baiming. Yunsheng's voice was like a sharp arrow that pierced through everything. Yi Baiming's feet stopped. Time seemed to go back several years. Yi Baiming slowly turned his head, and a figure rushed into his arms. Night Fox, we have agreed that wherever you are, I will be there. We have agreed that we will not be separated. Yunsheng's body was trembling slightly. I don't care who you are. In my heart, you will always be Yi Baiming, my Night Fox. The short road from Sky Harmony City to the Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds was the longest road Yunsheng had walked in her life. Every step felt as long as a lifetime. Yunsheng was afraid that she would be too late. When Heiyao said that there was an ancient magic array in the Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds that could revive people, Yunsheng knew that if she was late, she might lose Yi Baiming forever. When she saw Yi Baiming walking step by step towards the magic array, she felt that her heart was about to jump out of her throat. She was really afraid that once Yi Baiming stepped into the magic array, he would become a different person. Fortunately, she rushed over. Yi Baiming's consciousness returned as if he had seen the clear sun in a fog. It's her. That be asterisk starred. Heiyao actually didn't kill her. Yushang saw Yunsheng, and her eyes were filled with jealousy. Yunsheng, you shouldn't have come here. It's impossible between you and Yi Baiming. He is the holy infant formed by the energy of the ancient Qilin King Yishio. From the moment he was born, he was destined to awaken as Yishio. Yishio hates humans the most. You should leave him. Dugu Xiao looked at Yunsheng with a complicated expression. What Yishio and Bai Xiao? That damned Yishio. What ancient forbidden spell? What holy infant? Who does he think he is? Does he think that everything is up to him? I only know that from the day I met this man before me, he was Yi Baiming. No one can take him away from me. Yunsheng was completely enraged. She grabbed Yi Baiming tightly with both hands, looking like she was about to explode. Reckless woman. Anyone who tries to stop the Qilin King Yishio's resurrection will only die. Yushang, the magic array is almost ready. I know that you have a grudge against this woman. You will deal with her. The high priest sneered. He suddenly extended his claw and appeared in front of Yi Baiming in a flash. High priest, just as Yunsheng said, I am Yi Baiming, not Yishio. Therefore, I will not cooperate with you. Whether Yishio is resurrected or not has nothing to do with me. Yi Baiming took a step forward and started fighting with the high priest. Bastard, I didn't think that you would still be standing here alive. That's fine too. The grudge between us should have been settled long ago. Yushang smiled seductively and charged at Yunsheng. I'm sorry, but I've been wanting to kill you for a long time. Yunsheng and Yushang's 7 tails appeared behind them at the same time. Haha, Yunsheng, I'll let you have a taste of the power of puppet control today. Yushang's fingertips changed, and magic power condensed into countless spiderweb-like magic threads. With a few sizzling sounds, the magic threads wrapped around Yunsheng's hands and feet like needles. Beast King roar. Yunsheng was not to be outdone. She let out a sharp cry from her throat. Bang! 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 The magic threads broke instantly. Chapter 1388. She thought that the puppet controlling technique she used to defeat the enemy would be effective, but who would have thought that the puppet controlling technique would be inferior to the Beast King's roar, even though they were both from the 7 tails inheritance. Bastard, you do have some skills. But even so, you won't be able to escape death today. Yushang and the Great Witch Doctor exchanged glances. Divine General Fanjin, hear me! The great witch doctor suddenly shouted. With a loud clang, a group of divine soldiers led by a silver-armored divine general charged out with murderous intent. Those divine soldiers and generals were part of Hu Yushang's ambush. Damn it, they were the divine soldiers of the divine world. Yunsheng's eyebrows twitched. These divine soldiers were different from the black talisman divine soldiers she had encountered earlier. They were at least a level stronger, with the weakest among them being martial emperors. The divine general Fanjin was already a peak martial god. Little wild cat. Yi Baiming swooped down and stood in front of Yunsheng. Even Yi Baiming couldn't help but frown when he sensed the divine world's divine energy. I didn't expect you to have dealings with the people of the divine world. Even the high priest couldn't help but raise his eyebrows when he saw the divine soldiers. Dugu Xiu's heart tightened as he stared at Yunsheng. You'd better get out of the way. The divine soldiers have no eyes. I want to kill that bastard celestial fox. If you want to hurt her, you'll have to step over my dead body. Yi Baiming's right arm trembled, and golden scales appeared on his arm. The air instantly distorted, revealing the divine energy of the divine war halberd. You asked for it. Yu Shang gritted her teeth when she saw Yi Baiming wholeheartedly protecting Yunsheng. Kill them! Divine General Fanjin roared. His divine soldier's battle intent surged as he swung his heavy sword at the two. Yunsheng, don't let go of my hand. Yi Baiming and Yunsheng stared at each other in the face of the powerful divine soldiers and divine generals. Their fingers were tightly intertwined. Battle energy and sorcery energy surged like the sun and moon. Yi Baiming and Yunsheng charged at the divine soldiers. Cries of battle reverberated through the air. Blood, like red spider lilies on both sides of the river of forgetfulness, bloomed enchantingly. This was a battle between two people against 100 divine soldiers and divine generals. Even though there were only two of them, Yunsheng and Yi Baiming were unstoppable. One by one, the divine soldiers fell to the ground, screaming. Gudu Xiu looked at the man and woman fighting in the rain of blood. He looked at their hands, which were still clasped together. His expression, Dugu, had a complicated look in his eyes. At that moment, even he didn't know whether he was happy or sad. He was happy because Yi Baiming would die. He was sad because if Yi Baiming died, Yunsheng wouldn't live on by herself. He knew that whether Yi Baiming became a Yi Xiu or not, Yunsheng would never leave him. Countless magical attacks and the stench of blood filled the air. Yunsheng couldn't remember how many people she had killed. The magic scepter in her hand had broken into two because of the repeated attacks. Yi Baiming's hand never let go of her right hand. But she could feel the battle energy in his body fading away. Would they really die in battle? No, that definitely wouldn't be their end. They had to survive. Who allowed you to act so recklessly in the Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds? He Yao roared as he descended from the sky. He looked at the corpse-strewn Forbidden Grounds. He looked at Dugu Xiu, who was standing beside the High Priestess. He looked at the Black Qilin King's heart and the Qilin King's relic. It's you? It's you guys. Obsidian immediately understood what was going on when he saw this. The scene of his daughter He Linlin's tragic death was still vivid in his mind. He had always thought that it was Yi Baiming and Yunsheng who had killed He Linlin. He didn't expect that the ones who had killed He Linlin were the High Priestess and Dugu Xiu. Why, Xiu, why did you do this? He Yao was both physically and mentally exhausted. His beloved daughter had died tragically. Yi Baiming wasn't his biological son. He only had Dugu Xiu left in this world. But his only son had actually stabbed him in the back at such a time. Why? He Yao, you've always treated me as a spare chess piece. In your heart, whether it's my mother or I, we can't compare to Li Qingcheng and her son. I only cooperated with the High Priestess for my own benefit, Dugu Xiu said calmly to the furious He Yao. A tear fell from He Yao's eye. He Yao had lived in this world for decades. This was the first time he had shed a tear. Only now did he realize that everything he had done for so many years had been wrong. The Forbidden Grounds had been breached. Dugu Xiu had colluded with the High Priestess. He, the so-called patriarch, had been deceived and used from start to finish. He Yao's expression was ice-cold. Qilin battle energy roared madly from his body like a storm. No matter who it is, only death awaits those who dare to cause trouble in the Black Qilin Forbidden Grounds. Both of you, back off. An enormous surge of Qilin battle energy instantly locked onto the many divine soldiers and divine generals present. Time seemed to freeze in an instant. This is... Yunsheng and Yi Baiming stopped at the same time. Their gazes rested on He Yao, the patriarch of the Qilin clan. He Yao's figure was like a boundless night sky. His face was filled with rage and despair. Let's end this. This damn thing. A terrifying black hole suddenly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The divine power of the divine soldiers and divine generals was instantly suppressed. Their bodies were devoured by He Yao's terrifying devouring power. The moment he was devoured, He Yao spat out a mouthful of blood. He turned his head in disbelief and saw Du Guxiu standing behind him. Du Guxiu's left hand, the Qilin arm transformed from the halberd of the divine battle god, pierced He Yao's heart. There was a dull thud as He Yao's heart was crushed. His eyes were filled with disbelief as they slowly became lifeless. He Yao had never imagined that he would one day die at the hands of his own son. "You are my only son." He Yao fell to the ground unwillingly. As he closed his eyes, he glanced at Yi Baiming. An alluring figure flashed across his mind, and everything fell into darkness. He Yao's body turned cold. Finally, everything returned to normal. A powerhouse of the Bakra orcs, He Yao, the Black Qilin, had fallen. In the Black Qilin forbidden grounds, the divine soldiers and divine generals had been devoured. Both sides had suffered great losses. After killing He Yao, Du Guxiu's face was indifferent. Perhaps this outcome had already been decided the moment he cooperated with the high priest. However, who would have thought that the formidable He Yao would be killed by his own son? Chapter 1389. You killed him. Yi Baiming and Yunsheng were both exhausted. They couldn't do anything about He Yao's death. How can I become the Black Qilin patriarch if he's not dead? Du Guxiu's face was cold, as if the person he'd killed wasn't his own father. Even if he's not dead, the position of Black Qilin patriarch will belong to you. Don't you know that I have nothing to do with He Yao? Yi Baiming didn't feel much sympathy for He Yao's death. He Yao's appearance had helped them resolve the crisis of the divine soldiers. He was thankful for that. Haha, what's the point of bickering at a time like this? Those who deserve to die are already dead. It's your turn now. The high priest's scalp-numbing smile fell on Yi Baiming and Yunsheng. High priest, I've already said that I'm not Yi Xiu. I won't merge the Qilin King's Saraira and Qilin King's heart to help Yi Xiu be reborn. Yunsheng's appearance made Yi Baiming even more determined. The blood that flowed out of the wounds on their hands was warm. Their heartbeats also formed the same rhythm. Yi Baiming's words were also Yunsheng's words. The reason you refuse to become Yi Xiu is because of that bastard celestial fox beside you. Alright, since that's the case, I'll make you give up completely. The high priest suddenly disappeared. A hideous black figure with a disfigured face appeared in the sky above the forbidden area. He looked abnormally evil, and a murderous aura emanated from him. He opened his large hand. Like a mountain, his large hand broke through the air and forcefully separated Yunsheng and Yi Baiming. Yunsheng was sucked into the palm of that huge hand. In an instant, Yunsheng felt as though her Dharma soul had been frozen, unable to move. Let her go. The high priestess bent her fingers slightly. Her large hand was like a cage. In an instant, Yunsheng's limbs began to creak. There was the sound of clothes being torn apart. How dare you? High priest. Yi Baiming and Du Guxiu felt their souls tremble. They all knew that as long as the high priest used a little more, Yunsheng's body would probably explode. At the thought of Yunsheng's tragic death, both of them felt as if their hearts were being twisted by a knife. High priestess, what are you hesitating for? Kill that bastard. She's the one who's been hindering Yi Xiu's rebirth time and time again. Yu Shang, on the other hand, was extremely excited. She couldn't wait to see Yunsheng split into pieces and be beheaded. Yi Baiming, listen carefully. I order you to enter the magic array and fuse with the Qilin King's heart and the Qilin King's Saraira. If you hesitate for even a second, I will break her hand. If you hesitate for even a second, I will twist her head off. I don't want to destroy such a beautiful woman. The high priestess's tone was sinister. As the shadow of the ancient Qilin King, the high priestess's strength was comparable to Yi Xiu's in the past. Needless to say, after thousands of years of accumulation, the high priestess had used the beast god altar to obtain a lot of mysterious power. Night Fox, don't agree to it. Yunsheng endured the bone-shattering pain and groaned. If Night Fox walked into the magic array, she would really lose her. Yi Baiming, why aren't you doing it? Do you want to kill her? Du Guxiu rushed forward like an enraged lion. Scram! Yi Baiming roared and exhaled with difficulty. Little wild cat, I'm sorry. I have to go back on my word this time. He couldn't bear to see the little wild cat being humiliated and tortured by the high priestess. Yi Baiming walked towards the ancient magic array. No! Yunsheng used the last of her strength and screamed at the top of her lungs. Seeing that Yi Baiming had already walked into the magic array, the high priestess's eyes turned red and she retracted her hand. Die, woman who gets in the way. But just as he was about to make a move, a powerful magic wave exploded from Yunsheng's body. Old man, Do you really think that you can kill me? That bone-chilling voice made the high priestess's body stiffen. His fingers were pried open one by one. Boom! A ball of light pierced the high priestess's eyes. When he opened his eyes again, Yunsheng was already a few feet away. But her? Was she still Yunsheng? It was a sacred and pure aura. The high priestess, Yi Baiming, and everyone else, including Duguxiu, felt that power. In the sky, Yunsheng's clothes were already dyed red with blood. Cracking sounds came from her body. Her broken bones were constantly regenerating, and her bleeding wounds had already coagulated. That is. Yushang's heart trembled. Her gaze fell on Yunsheng's body. At this time, Yunsheng's blood-stained clothes had already disappeared. She was wearing a snow-white battle armor. At this moment, Yunsheng was like a goddess of war draped in ancient divine armor. The cold wind in the forbidden area blew her long hair, revealing her face that was even more sacred than snow and jade. At that moment, everyone stopped breathing. At that moment, Yunsheng's beauty was so pure and flawless that it could topple all living things. Behind her, 8 fox tails were very eye-catching. Even the likes of Yushang and He Linlin paled in comparison to her. Impossible. How could she break through at this time? That is the divine armor formed by the 8-tailed celestial fox's inheritance. She actually broke through. No, this is impossible, Yushang muttered to herself. She stared at Yunsheng as if she had seen the most unbelievable thing. No one had expected that the 8-tailed celestial fox's inheritance that Yunsheng had studied bitterly for months to no avail would be broken through by Yunsheng at this time. This woman was like a legend. No matter when, she would come back from the brink of death. The high priestess's eyes were also bloodshot. He stared at Yunsheng, as if he saw another shadow in her. Many years ago, there was also a woman wearing the celestial fox divine armor who stood at the peak of the continent. That face, that temperament, it was exactly the same. For a moment, the high priestess couldn't tell whether the person in front of him was Yunsheng or Hu Yan, who should have died thousands of years ago. Celestial Fox Relic. You have Hu Yan's Celestial Fox Relic in your body. You are Hu Yan. The high priestess's voice was filled with madness. But so what if you are Hu Yan? Ha ha ha, Yixiu hates you to the core. Once that man becomes Yixiu, the first thing he will do will be to kill you. Oh, is there really no way to salvage the situation? I don't think so. A smile appeared on Yunsheng's face. With that, she looked at the magic array. Suddenly, her figure flashed as she charged toward it. But when the high priestess saw what Yunsheng was doing, shock surfaced on his ugly face. Chapter 1390. Yunsheng only made one move. In an instant, she released all the mana in her body. Like Earth crashing into Mars, she crashed into the ancient magic array. When the high priest saw Yunsheng's actions clearly, he immediately understood. That woman wanted to destroy the ancient magic array. Stop her! The high priest panicked. But at that moment, Yunsheng landed in a sturdy arm. Little wildcat, I'm really flattered that you're throwing yourself into my arms like this. The man's doting voice lingered in her ears. Yunsheng looked up and realized that Yi Baiming had blocked her attack. Night Fox, didn't you already? Yunsheng looked at the ancient magic array and realized that the Qilin King's heart and the Qilin King's Saraira were still intact. Silly girl, I'm worried about leaving you alone. Yi Baiming glanced at Duguxiu. Yi Baiming, how dare you trick me? The high priest didn't expect Yi Baiming to be faking it. Unrepentant fool. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you're the holy infant. Whatever Yixiu can give you, I can take back. The high priest's gaze sharpened as he clenched his fingers. The ancient magic array emitted a dazzling black light. The ancient magic array was like a black whirlpool, forming a strong suction force. Yi Baiming felt the blood in his body flow backward. His body flew toward the ancient magic array. His flesh was swept up by the ancient magic array's energy, and a portion of it was forcefully torn away. Ungrateful thing. Who do you think gave you talent? Who gave you a heaven-defying physique? Since you don't know how to cherish it, I'll peel off your flesh inch by inch today. The high priest sneered and flew over. Remember, your body will never be able to resist the call of the Qilin King's Saraira and the Qilin King's heart. Night Fox. Yunsheng grabbed Yi Baiming's hand. However, the suction force of the magic array was too strong. Yunsheng was directly sucked into the magic array. Yunsheng. Seeing that Yunsheng was about to be implicated, Duguxiu flew forward and grabbed Yunsheng's hand. At this critical moment, the high priest suddenly paused. The ground shook violently, and a pinkish color and a black color burst out from the ground. Dark Sun. It's all your fault for being so slow. Hurry up and save Master and that Qilin brat. Popo and Mingri's sudden appearance shocked the high priest and the others. You are? Underworld god? Even the high priest was horrified when he saw the son of the underworld that was filled with the aura of death. This was the true god of the underworld, a fiend from the underworld. Ming-Ri's handsome brows furrowed, looking like he was having a headache. He had promised the four cardinal divinity that he would not interfere with the affairs of the mortal world and Popo. However, in order to save Yunsheng and Yi Baiming, Popo went straight to the underworld palace. She cried, threw a tantrum, and threatened to hang herself. If Ming-Ri didn't help her, she would. She would ignore Ming-Ri for the rest of her life. In desperation, Ming-Ri had no choice but to rush over. Yes, he is Underworld God. Underworld God, as a member of the Underworld, you disobeyed the rules of the God realm and interfered with the affairs of the mortal world. Aren't you afraid of the God Emperor's reprimand? The Great Witch Doctor also recognized Ming-Ri. So what if I interfered? You can go to the God realm and complain. Ming-Ri gave the Great Witch Doctor a cold stare. Who in the world would dare to complain about the Underworld God? If they really did, the consequences would be severe. Except for Popo and Ming-Ri, even if the people of the mortal world wanted to complain, there was no door to heaven. Popo, remember, don't do it again. Ming-Ri waved his sleeves and rolled Yunsheng and the others over. Wait, just two. The life and death of these cats and dogs can't be counted in the favor of this world god. Popo wouldn't ask Ming-Ri for help if she hadn't been forced to the point of burning eyebrows. She saw Duguxiu at a glance. With a kick of her long legs, she directly kicked Duguxiu away and rolled into the magic array. Underworld god, do you really want to interfere in the affairs of the mortal world? The high priest avoided Ming-Ri and didn't dare to stop him for a while. So what if I interfere? This world god will not only interfere, but also take them away. Remember, if you do too much injustice, you will die. The mortal world is not a place where you can hide the sky with one hand. Ming-Ri said and disappeared with Popo and Yunsheng and Yi Baiming in the magic array. High priest, are you just going to let them leave? Yushang was about to kill Yunsheng and revive Yi Xiu, but the son of the underworld suddenly appeared and snatched Yi Xiu away. She was even more furious. Even Underworld God has taken action. Do you still want me to snatch them from him? However, most of Yi Baiming's flesh and blood have been absorbed by the magic array. He will be a cripple in the future. Keeping him alive will only prolong his feeble existence. As for that celestial fox, she won't have many good days either, the high priest said viciously. High priest, look at the magic array behind us. Yushang and the high priest only paid attention to Ming-Ri and the others. Only the Great Witch Doctor noticed the drastic change in the magic array. Just now, when Bobo had kicked Duguxiu into the magic array, he hadn't thought that Duguxiu would be able to survive inside the magic array. As soon as Duguxiu entered the magic array began to change rapidly. Inside the magic array, the ancient Qilin King's heart and King Qilin Sarira shone brightly. Duguxiu's body was constantly absorbing the energy fluctuations in the magic array. Could it be? The high priest was shocked by this unbelievable scene. How can this be? Isn't it said that only the Qilin Holy Infant can merge the Qilin King's Sarira and King Qilin's heart? Why is the magic array changing like this? Yushang asked curiously. It must be the will of the heavens. It must be because of Yi Baiming's flesh and blood that was absorbed by the magic array. Ha ha ha, so what? Yi Xiu's resurrection is a fact that even the heavens can't reverse. The high priest laughed maniacally. The part of Yi Baiming's flesh and blood inside the magic array had been absorbed by Duguxiu's body. Under the magic array's transformation, Duguxiu's figure had long disappeared. A brand new body was taking shape. Countless amounts of energy gushed out of the King Qilin Sarira and transformed Duguxiu's body. A huge body that looked like a mirage gradually took shape. A pair of red eyes flickered in the magic array like red lanterns. A powerful ancient energy rushed into the sky. The entire 8 Desolates continent changed colors because of it. The ancient King Qilin, Yi Xiu, had finally been resurrected after thousands of years. Chapter 1391. With the help of Ming-Ri, Popo, Yunsheng, and the others finally escaped from the jaws of death and returned to the boundless land. With the help of the magic array, they arrived at the entrance of a relay station near the Dutian blood realm. Popo, this time, I have already disobeyed the will of Mother Goddess and saved their lives for you. However, the calamity of the human world has not ended. An even greater crisis is approaching. Ming-Ri turned his head to look at the sky. He saw the clouds roiling in the sky above bloody sky metropolis Jia. The clouds had already turned the color of blood. A black bolt of lightning flashed across the sky like a dragon. Ming-Ri's brows were tightly knitted together. I know. Whatever calamity, I will deal with it myself. Popo waved her hand. Night Fox. Yunxing supported Yi Baiming. As a large amount of flesh was directly absorbed by the magic array, Yi Baiming looked terrible now. Half of his body had almost turned into white bones, and his handsome face was almost completely destroyed. Seeing Yi Baiming in such a state, no matter how strong Yunxing was, she could not help but cry. If an ordinary person became like this, they would have died long ago. However, Yi Baiming relied on his strong willpower to hold on. Little wild cat, don't cry. I'm fine. Just as he finished speaking, Yi Baiming spat out a mouthful of blood. He coughed violently and vomited out a black blood clot. Seeing all this, Yunxing and Popo's faces turned even uglier. Ming Ri, quickly think of a way. Qilin kid won't die, right? I want you to save a living person. What's the meaning of you saving a half-dead one? Popo had the urge to strangle Ming Ri. If not for Ming Ri's unwillingness to save people, she would not have waited until that time to save her master and Qilin kid. In her impression, Qilin kid was a cockroach that could not be killed. He had never been in such a situation. More than half of his Qilin flesh was devoured. If it wasn't for the life and death talisman in his body, he would have died long ago. At this time, even if the immortals came to the world, they wouldn't be able to save him. Ming Ri looked at Yi Baiming and shook his head. Even a god of the god realm would find it difficult to survive if more than half of his divine body was devoured, let alone Yi Baiming. But from the looks of it, this man was really a tough guy. Even Ming Ri couldn't help but look at Yi Baiming in a new light. Is there no other way? Bobo looked worried. She knew that if anything happened to Yi Baiming, Master would definitely. No, there must be a way. There were still tears in Yunsheng's eyes. She hugged Yi Baiming tightly and stared at the son of the underworld without blinking. There seemed to be an irresistible force in her eyes, causing Ming Ri's heart to tremble. This woman. God of the underworld, why don't you tell them about that method? Just as Ming Ri was hesitating, a voice came from Yunsheng's body. Ji Rumo? Yunsheng was shocked. She took out the Heaven's Mandate mirror from the beast language ring. Ji Rumo, who had been unconscious for a while, woke up again. It was just that he didn't expect that so many things would happen while he was unconscious. Ji Rumo had long felt that there was something wrong with the High Priest. It was just that he didn't expect that the High Priest was actually Yi Xiu's shadow guard. Even if that method will cause his soul to scatter, you still want to try it? Ming Ri saw Ji Rumo and knew that he couldn't hide the matter anymore. As the top light magic genius in the boundless continent, Ji Rumo had dabbled in a lot of things. It was unknown how he found out about the secret method of the underworld. Ming Ri pondered for a moment and said faintly. Even as the god of the underworld, he felt that that method was cruel. I'm willing. The one who answered Ming Ri was Yi Baiming. He laughed bitterly. His eyes were already blurred by blood, but he could feel that Yunsheng, who was beside him, was crying. As long as he could make Yunsheng smile again, he was willing to do anything. He is the holy infant that Yi Xiu created with the power of the Qilin King's relic. He has no father or mother. Besides the Qilin King's relic, he was also nurtured by the Qilin King's body. Just now, I didn't feel Yi Xiu's corpse in the Qilin Forbidden Land. If I'm not wrong, the real corpse of the Qilin King should still be in the Dutian Blood Realm. Ming Ri hesitated for a while, but still decided to help Yi Baiming under Bo's threatening gaze. However, he asked Yunsheng and the others to find Yi Xiu's corpse first. Only when they found Yi Xiu's corpse could Ming Ri use Hellfire to rebuild Yi Baiming's bones and flesh. Logically speaking, the corpse of the ancient Qilin King Yi Xiu should be buried in the Qilin tomb. No, back then, I entered the Qilin tomb. There was only the Qilin King's relic, but there was no corpse of the Qilin King. Yi Baiming remembered very clearly that there was no corpse of the Qilin King Yi Xiu in the huge Qilin tomb. Why don't we ask Gufeng? The new Dutian blood seal he's in now is above the old Qilin tomb, Yunsheng suggested. Everyone walked in the direction of the Dutian blood seal together. Gufeng didn't expect that he would see Yunsheng again so soon. However, the person who came with Yunsheng surprised Gufeng. Not to mention the man standing with Bo, just a look from that man made Gufeng have the urge to faint. Also, what was with the bloody Yi Baiming with Yunsheng? Wasn't that kid always so strong that it made people's hair stand on end? Was it always others who were abused by him? Also, the strangest thing was that Yunsheng had brought the Heaven's Mandate mirror that should have been broken. Ji Rumo was alive again. Gufeng, I don't have time to talk to you so much for the time being. Under your feet should be the ancient Qilin tomb. You've been here for so long. Have you found the corpse of the ancient Qilin King? Yunsheng asked anxiously. As the Dutian blood seal was once damaged, Gufeng reconstructed the new Dutian blood seal with the power of light. It was located at the original location of the Qilin tomb. No, I'm already very familiar with this area. I can be sure that the corpse of the Qilin king isn't here. Gufeng shook his head. This is troublesome. Without the corpse of the Qilin king, even I can't save him. Mingri was also helpless. Everyone knew that Yi Xiu had fallen in the Dutian blood world in the battle between the human race and the Bakra orcs. His corpse was not in the Qilin tomb. The Dutian blood world was so big. Where should they find Yi Xiu's corpse? At this moment, the celestial fox relic in Yunsheng's body floated out of Yunsheng's body and emitted a soft light. It was like a bright lamp, guiding the way in front of Yunsheng. Everyone, follow me. Yunsheng seemed to know something and led everyone in the direction of the celestial fox relic. Chapter 1392. After passing through a passage, a graveyard appeared in front of everyone. Several years had passed. Even though the Dutian blood world had undergone earth-shaking changes. The Dutian blood seal had also been rebuilt, but this celestial fox tomb still maintained its original appearance. The statue of Hu Yan was still standing there. This is the celestial fox tomb? Master, we found the corpse of Yi Xiu. Why did we come to the celestial fox tomb to look for it? Bobo looked around. I suspect that Yi Xiu's skeleton is here. Yunsheng looked at the celestial fox Sarira that had been hovering in front of Hu Yan's statue. But master, didn't you say that Yi Xiu and Hu Yan had broken up? It was also because of this that Yi Xiu issued an ancient forbidden curse that cursed celestial fox and black Qilin to never be together. How could their skeletons be together? Bobo remembered very clearly that it was that damned ancient forbidden curse that caused Master and Qilin to suffer so much. Even so, Yunsheng looked at Hu Yan's statue. Different from the statue in the Dutian Fox Temple, this statue of Hu Yan in the Celestial Fox Tomb did not have the majesty of the Celestial Fox people. Hu Yan's eyes were full of sorrow as she looked ahead stubbornly. In front. Yi Xiu's skeleton may be in front. Yunsheng followed Hu Yan's line of sight and looked over. She and Bobo followed Hu Yan's line of sight and found an open space and dug down. They dug until they were dozens of meters deep. Found it. Master, there really is a skeleton here. Bobo saw the skeleton of a beast. In terms of shape, this skeleton was very large, far larger than most of the skeletons of magical beasts that Yunsheng and the others knew. And after thousands of years, not only did the skeleton not become brittle, the skeleton was very complete. Its shape was perfect, and every bone was like a black diamond. There was also a flow of energy in the skeleton. This is indeed the skeleton of the ancient Qilin king. Mingri went forward to check and said with certainty. With the remains of King Qilin, he could think of a way to rebuild Yi Baiming's body. Yunsheng glanced at Hu Yan's statue. She didn't know if it was her illusion, but when the skeleton was unearthed, the statue's eyes seemed to soften a lot. Yi Baiming, I need to remind you of something. Your body is very weak right now. Even a normal attack could take your life, not to mention the 9-layered hellfire that the underworld uses to purify evil spirits. If you don't refine it properly, your soul may scatter. Mingri once again asked Yi Baiming before he began to cast Yi Baiming's bones and flesh. Underworld God, thank you for your reminder. No one knows my current situation better than I do. Even though we have already escaped from the 8 Desolates mainland, the High Priest will not let this matter rest. If I can't become stronger than before, I won't be able to protect the people I love. I think you can empathize with me on this point. For her, even if my soul scatters, I won't hesitate. Yi Baiming said indifferently. After listening to Yi Baiming's words, Mingri's eyes flashed slightly, and there was a hint of approval in his eyes. This man was worthy of being the person chosen by Yi Xiu. Even if he didn't have a tyrannical body, he had a strong willpower that could destroy the world. Perhaps, even the gods were afraid of the 9-layered hellfire, he could survive it. When Mingri and Yi Baiming were talking, Yunsheng just stood in the distance. She couldn't hear what the two were talking about, and Yunsheng didn't need to know what they were talking about. That was a conversation that belonged to the men. Master, don't worry. Mingri won't harm the Qilin boy. Bobo said softly. Yes, no matter what he does, I will stand by his side. Yunsheng also made up her mind, and there was more determination in her eyes. Everyone, I will take Yi Baiming to the 9-layered hell. That is the ghost prison of the underworld, and ordinary people can't enter. In order to preserve Yi Baiming's physical strength as much as possible, Mingri supported him with one hand. We will go too. Yunsheng and Bobo said in unison. Yunsheng had a strong dark soul in her body, and Bobo was a world god in the mortal world. The two of them could barely avoid being eroded by the ghost qi in the 9-layered hell. Looking at the two's concerned eyes, Mingri pondered for a moment, and with a gust of wind, he took the 3 of them into the 9-layered ghost prison of the underworld. Yunxing only felt darkness in front of her eyes, and the gloomy wind that was rolled up by Ming Ri's sleeve was bone-chilling. When she opened her eyes again, she was already in the middle of the hellfire. Around her, there were countless blood-red iron chains hanging. The black and purple flames were burning the bodies of the ghosts that were chained by the iron chains. The 9-layered hell was the place where the mortal world, the divine world, and the underworld punished sinners. The hellfire here would not be extinguished all year round. Ming Ri took Yunxing and the other two and fell into the deepest part of the 9-layered hell. Over there, the fire soared into the sky, and the evil aura was so thick that it made people feel suffocated. You guys stay here. No matter what happens later, you guys are not allowed to go down. Ming Ri added a magic barrier beside the two of them. Then, he took Yi Baiming and stood in the air above the sea of fire. Fusing with the skeleton of the ancient Kailan king is a very painful process. Whether you can endure it or not, it depends on your own willpower. Ming Ri rolled up his sleeve, and the black skeleton of the Kailan king fell into the sea of fire. The purplish-black hellfire turned into a tongue of fire and swallowed the skeleton. Go! Ming Ri used his evil aura to wrap Yi Baiming up and sent him into the sea of fire. Inside the magic array, Yunxing was so nervous that her body stiffened. Bo Bo held Yunsheng's hand tightly. Only Bo Bo knew that her usually strong-willed master would only reveal her weak side in the face of the Qilin brat. In the flames, Yi Baiming's body was quickly swallowed by the flames. What kind of pain was that? It was as if his soul was about to be destroyed. At this time, the Kailan bone had been melted into molten iron by the ghost fire. The temperature of the entire 9-layered hell was even hotter than 10 suns burning together. Ming Ri kept chanting. A large amount of yin qi rushed out of his body and merged into the 9-layered hellfire. Crack, crack, crack. At this time, Yi Baiming's flesh and blood had almost completely melted. He was no longer in human form. In the fire, only a brightly colored magic soul was still emitting a dim light. Wu, Yunxing finally couldn't bear it anymore. She bit down on her lips. In her mouth, there was a strong taste of blood. Even Bo Bo was shocked to see this. Yi Baiming, I know you can hear me. The next step is the most important. If you can endure it, you can be reborn. At this step, Ming Ri's expression became serious. He closed his 5 fingers and slowly moved Yi Baiming's magic soul and the skeleton of the Kailan king in the sea of fire, trying to fuse the two together. Chapter 1393. The Qilin king's skeleton, which had been melted into liquid by the 9-fold ghost fire, merged with Yi Baiming's spirit soul. When she first came into contact with Yi Baiming's spirit soul, Yunxing clearly saw the Qilin king's skeleton reject it. Boom! The skeleton that had been dead for many years seemed to have come alive. A terrifying aura shook the entire 9-fold hell. The fire burned even more fiercely. Even Yunxing and Bobo, who were in the magic formation, could feel the repulsion. The Qilin king's skeleton continued to resist for more than an hour. These 2 hours felt as long as a lifetime. In this hour, Yi Baiming's spirit soul, which had been dim, grew stronger. In contrast, the Qilin king's skeleton's resistance weakened. In the end, the spirit soul and the skeleton fused together. The 9-fold ghost fire was still burning. The Qilin king's skeleton enveloped Yi Baiming's spirit soul. The fusion of spirit and bone caused a vigorous vitality to radiate from the skeleton. Ming Ri's eyes lit up. With a roar, the 9-fold ghost fire transformed into 9-fire WYRMS. The 9-fire WYRMS howled as they charged toward the newly born Qilin king's skeleton. Boom! The 9-fire WYRMS exploded. At this moment, the Qilin king's skeleton underwent a strange change. Tiny blood-red veins grew on the originally black skeleton, as if the earth had recovered in spring. Those tiny veins grew from thin to thick. Then, new muscles that were forged by flames also grew. It was a very strange process. After a hellish baptism, Yi Baiming perfectly fused his spirit soul and the Qilin king's skeleton in about an hour. Although she knew that more than half of the process was successful, Yunxing didn't make a sound during the entire process. She didn't even know that her bloody lips had split open. Bo Bo, who was watching from the side, sighed inwardly. As expected, the word love was the most misleading. She had never seen such a master. 3 hours later, a surging baleful aura swept out from the purple-black flames. Ming Ri's eyebrows twitched, and his eyes were filled with shock. He seemed to have created something incredible. He didn't know what kind of impact this would have on the mortal, divine, and netherworld realms in the future. But now that things had come to this, it was too late for Ming Ri to regret. It's done! Everyone cheered. Yunxing couldn't help but hold her breath as she looked at the figure walking out of the fire step by step. With every step the man took, the ghostly flames within the ninefold ghost prison would tremble, and an indescribably terrifying might covered the heavens and earth, causing the entire ninefold ghost prison to twist. But just as Yunsheng and Popo were overjoyed, a strange scene occurred. Yi Baiming, who had already walked out of the will-o'-the-wisp, suddenly stopped. He suddenly let out an angry roar, and with a shake of his body, he turned into a golden qilin. Inside its body, a new wave of Do Qi soared into the sky. Yi Baiming's body also emitted rays of golden light, and his entire person was like a scorching sun, bathed in golden light. The flames of the ninefold hell were extinguished as if a bucket of water had been poured over them. What's wrong? Seeing Yi Baiming's sudden change, Yunsheng thought that something had happened, and anxiously asked Popo and Ming Ri. Ming Ri and Popo also revealed strange expressions at the same time. Master, the Qilin boy seems to be breaking through after casting his bones and growing his muscles. He seems to be breaking through to become a demigod. After hesitating for a moment, Popo made a smacking expression. Yes, after fusing with the Qilin King bone and the nine hells ghostly flames, he intends to break through to become a demigod. This boy is actually breaking through in my ninefold hell, this is really. Ming Ri, the god of the underworld, felt a headache coming on as he looked at the extinguished hellfire. What? Night Fox is breaking through? Regardless of whether it was in the Boundless Land or the Eight Wastelands land, Yunsheng knew that the highest realm for a magician was the Dharma god, and the highest realm for a warrior was the martial god. But above that, above the martial god and Dharma god was the demigod. Since they had broken through the limits of humans and magical beasts, and possessed a body that was close to the divine body, their lifespan and physical strength would increase by another level after breaking through to the demigod realm. As Yi Baiming broke through to the demigod realm at the last minute, the evil aura of the ninefold hell was suddenly sucked dry. Ming Ri had no choice but to urgently mobilize the netherworld guards to suppress the evil spirits in the ninefold hell. Then, another 3 days and 3 nights passed. Yunsheng and Popo did not sleep or rest as they waited in the ninefold hell for Yi Baiming to break through to the demigod realm. For most of the time, Yi Baiming's body did not fluctuate at all, but his body emitted waves of evil aura. Finally, on the morning of the 4th day, the golden light in Yi Baiming's body shone brightly. As the golden light was too intense, Yunsheng and Popo had no choice but to leave the ninefold hell. In the morning, Yunsheng heard a series of footsteps amidst the moist fog. When she saw the man walking out of the fog, she felt her breath catch in her throat. His wheat-colored skin flashed with a metallic luster. The man who had remolded his bones and regenerated his muscles was as lofty as a mountain. There was a familiar smile at the corner of his mouth, and the woman's haggard appearance was reflected in his bottomless black eyes. Night Fox. Yunsheng forgot herself and pounced forward, hugging Yi Baiming tightly. Her face was pressed against his chest, and she could feel his strong heartbeat and bouncy muscles. All of this was so familiar. Cough cough, dear master, see no evil, hear no evil. You can say whatever you want, but can you wait for the Qilin boy to put on his clothes first? Ah, Ming ****, you big bastard, what are you doing? Popo was secretly admiring the Qilin boy's figure, but who knew that Ming Ri's face was gloomy as he covered Popo's eyes. If you want to look at me. Ming Ri said in a strange voice. What's there to look at? Besides, didn't we take a bath together when we were young? Popo's words stopped abruptly. Popo had already been dragged to a corner by Ming Ri for enlightenment education. Yunsheng's hand moved downwards. Suddenly, she felt something. Yunsheng then realized that Yi Baiming had actually come out naked. The fire of the ninefold hell had already burned his entire body clean, and not even a piece of cloth was left. Night Fox, you're acting like a hooligan. Yunsheng was so angry that she hit Yi Baiming fiercely. Little wild cat, before I put on my clothes, don't you want to tell me why Ji-Rumo is alive again? Unexpectedly, Yi Baiming's first sentence after being reborn from the fire was actually, Yunsheng's smile froze on her face. Even a fool could hear that Yi Baiming's words were choking with jealousy. This damn Night Fox, at this time, he actually had the mood to be jealous. Chapter 1394. Under Yi Baiming's threat, Yunsheng had no choice but to tell Yi Baiming about what happened in the Eight Wastelands Tower. Actually, Night Fox, Ji-Rumo is a good person. He helped me a lot. If it wasn't for him, I might not have been able to get out of the Eight Wastelands Tower. Yunsheng glanced at Night Fox carefully. Since that's the case, I'll go change my clothes first, Yi Baiming said nonchalantly after hearing what she said and walked away lightly. Yunsheng heaved a sigh of relief. She thought that Yi Baiming would have a 3-hall meeting. Where's the heavenly fate mirror? Yi Baiming, you actually stole my mirror. Yunxing touched it and realized that the beast language ring on her hand had disappeared. Somewhere in the ghost palace, Yi Baiming changed his clothes and threw the heavenly fate mirror to the side. Come out. Should I call you Ji Rumo or Penglai of Gojoseon? Yi Baiming stretched his long legs and leaned against the wall. He knocked the heavenly fate mirror against the wall without holding back. Then I should call you Prince Regent or Yi Baiming. Ji Rumo appeared in the heavenly fate mirror. The two peerless men stared at each other coldly. They didn't like each other. Ji Rumo, there are some things that we should make clear as soon as possible. I'm a very petty person. My woman doesn't like others coveting her. Yi Baiming went straight to the point and made it clear. Yunxing didn't have any special feelings for Ji Rumo, but Yi Baiming was a little unhappy when he thought about how his little wild cat would have to carry such a broken mirror around with her in the future. But I allow you to protect her. Yi Baiming suddenly changed the topic. Ji Rumo wanted to refute, but Yi Baiming's sudden change of topic caught Ji Rumo off guard. You allow me to stay by Yunsheng's side? Ji Rumo thought that with Yi Baiming's personality, he would either smash the heavenly fate mirror or throw it into a corner after learning of his existence. But he actually said that he would allow him to protect Yunsheng. Don't misunderstand. I'm only allowing you to protect her. You can't have any other thoughts. You're different from Duguxiu. The way you look at little wild cat is very pure. You just want her to be happy. If there comes a day when I can't take care of her, I hope that you can temporarily replace me to protect her and the people around her, Yi Baiming said meaningfully. Why would you? Ji Rumo had always thought that love between people couldn't tolerate a grain of sand, but Yi Baiming, what was this man thinking? I'm just taking precautions. There's no need to tell her what's between us. Let's just treat it as a secret we shared before. But under normal circumstances, I should protect my woman myself. Yi Baiming smiled. Something flashed in his eyes. When Yunxing came to him angrily and questioned Yi Baiming, he actually handed over the heavenly fate mirror as if nothing had happened. He actually didn't smash it or throw it away. Did Night Fox take the wrong medicine? Yunxing was suspicious. She turned the heavenly fate mirror over and over again. After confirming that there was no problem, she kept the mirror. Little wild cat, we've been in the underworld for a while. It's time to return to the boundless land. I feel that the High Priestess won't let this matter rest. Yi Baiming told Yunxing that he seemed to have felt something the moment he broke through to the demigod realm. Just as Yunxing, Yi Baiming, and Bo Bo bid farewell to the underworld and returned to the mortal realm, they still rode the four-way hell flood dragon this time. Little Qilin, we really had a narrow escape this time. Master and I were almost scared to death by you. Bo Bo looked at her master, who had returned to normal with a smile. She liked this kind of master even more. Lord Bo Bo, there's a situation up ahead. At this moment, the four-way hell flood dragon had already entered the mortal realm. However, just as the four-way hell flood dragon was about to find a place to land, it suddenly made an uneasy sound. What's wrong? Bo Bo, Yunxing, and the others looked up ahead. In the vast sky, there were 8 stars that looked like bloody holes hanging in the sky. That's... Yunxing and Yi Baiming both noticed the 8 bloody stars. It was daytime at the moment, but the 8 blood stars hung high in the sky. Under their contrast, even the sun seemed dimmer. When stars appeared in daytime, things would move in the opposite direction. There must be a demon. Something's wrong. Did you notice that the 8 stars are moving? Yunxing, Yi Baiming, and Bo Bo all noticed that the 8 bloody stars that suddenly appeared in the sky were slowly moving in a certain direction. That direction was the direction of the Dutian blood realm. In the Dutian blood realm, Gufeng sat in the Dutian blood seal. He raised his head and looked at the 8 bloody stars in the sky. His brows were tightly knitted together. Inside his body, the light Dharma soul issued a warning. On the same day, in the entire boundless continent, all the citizens, including Donghuang Ling, abandoned, and the magic elite camp all saw the 8 stars in the sky. The boundless continent was in chaos. The citizens walked onto the streets and pointed at the bloody stars in the sky. The light of the bloody stars grew stronger day by day. Gradually, even the light of the sun and the moon were covered by them. The entire continent became indistinguishable from day and night. The stars in the sky gradually disappeared, leaving only the 8 bloody stars. At this moment, in the 8 desolate continents' beast god altar, the high priest led a few priests of the beast god altar, along with Yushang and the martial doctor. Each of them held an 8 desolates dark artifact. It's been thousands of years. We've waited for thousands of years. The Bakra orcs of the boundless continent are finally back. On the main altar of the beast god altar, a man who looked like the king of the night stood with his hands by his side. He had fiery red hair, sharp brows, and a pair of eagle eyes that were filled with murderous intent. His tall and rugged figure made him look like the king of the night. He exuded a domineering aura that could destroy the world. He was Duguxiu, but not the Duguxiu of the past. He was Duguxiu, the new patriarch of the Black Qilin clan, who had fused the heart of the Qilin king and the Saraira of the Qilin king from the ancient magic array. That kick had inadvertently created a brand new Duguxiu. Even the high priest didn't expect that Duguxiu would be able to fuse with the body of the ancient Qilin that only Yi Baiming could inherit. In the short span of 3 days and 3 nights, Yi Baiming was reborn under the burning of the 9-layered hellfire. At the same time, Duguxiu was reborn in the 8 wastelands and became the new leader of the Black Qilin tribe. Chapter 1395. Duguxiu? What do you want? Jiu Luan, Di, Bimeng, and the other clan leaders of the Chinese tribe were imprisoned because they refused to work with Duguxiu. Foolish beast clans, I want to lead the Bakra orcs to rebuild their glory. Those who obey me will live, and those who oppose me will die. If you don't want to join the Crusade army, your clans and loved ones will die. After his rebirth, Duguxiu was so powerful that it made people's hair stand on end. Lu Zi, Lipoth, Lu Yunshuang, and the others had no choice but to retreat to their respective tribes. There are 8 stars in the sky formed by the 8 barons of darkness divine weapon. In another 12 hours, when the 8 stars form a line, the Dutian blood seal will be destroyed by the 8 barons of darkness divine weapon. At that time, the 8 barons crusade army will flatten the boundless continent. Duguxiu's eyes were filled with yearning. His dream of returning to the boundless continent could finally be realized. He stripped the glory of the Bakra orcs from the 4 major beast clans who refused to obey his orders. The 8 barons of darkness now belonged to the Black Qilin and Duguxiu. All of this was unexpected by Yunsheng, Yi Baiming, and the others. Boundless continent. This time, I, Duguxiu, will make your blood flow like a river. Duguxiu waved his sleeves. Outside the beast god altar, the million-strong army from the 8 barons let out an earth-shattering roar. Their hatred engulfed the entire 8 barons of darkness. Give us back the boundless continent. Massacre the boundless continent. Wave after wave of arrogant shouts broke through the sky of the 8 barons of darkness. The 8 stars of calamity from the 8 barons of darkness divine weapon were still shining brightly in the sky. Yunsheng. After seeing the 8 blood stars slowly moving toward the Dutian blood realm, Yunsheng, Yi Baiming, and Popo quickly rushed to the Dutian blood realm. Once they arrived at the Dutian blood realm, they saw a few familiar faces. Behind them, the armies from the other countries had gathered there for a few days. Ling, abandon. Other than Donghuang Ling, and Qi, Yunsheng also saw Penglai's elder Si Ming and a few elders from the mainland's elite camp. Yunsheng was pleasantly surprised to see her former comrade in arms, but the anxiety in her heart grew even more. Do you see the 8 stars in the sky? What was that thing? Right now, the continent is in chaos, and the people are in turmoil. Just a few days ago, when the 8 great ominous stars first appeared, Elder Si Ming, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly informed the leaders of the few big countries, including Donghuang Linger, to quickly gather in the Dutian blood realm. It turned out that when Elder Si Ming was observing the stars at night, he discovered that there were 8 strange stars in the sky. The 8 stars were blood-red in color, and they were moving slowly. Elder Si Ming knew that something was wrong. He quickly made a divination and discovered that a calamity was about to befall the Dutian blood world. Those 8 stars are the ominous stars. If I'm not wrong, 12 hours later, when the 8 stars form a straight line, a calamity will befall the boundless world. After Elder Si Ming knew that the ominous stars were about to descend, he gathered everyone here to discuss how to break the predicament caused by the 8 great ominous stars. Master, those are not ordinary stars. Those are the 8 Desolates' dark divine weapons of the 8 Desolates continent. If we don't stop them in time, the Dutian blood seal will collapse. Ji Rumo's appearance shocked everyone present. Rumo, you didn't die? Seeing his beloved disciple come back from the dead, Elder Si Ming was pleasantly surprised, but now was not the time to be surprised. Yunsheng briefly told him about the things that happened in the 8 Desolates continent. She was very regretful now. She did not expect that the 8 Desolates' dark divine weapon that she and Yi Baiming took out from the 8 Desolates' tower would become another opportunity for the High Priest and the others to launch a counterattack on the boundless world. When she mentioned that Duguxiu had merged with the power of the night cultivators and might have been revived, the High Priest, Yu Shang, and the other experts from thousands of years ago would return to the boundless world, everyone fell silent. All of this still happened. A few years ago, Gufeng used the life-burning technique to rebuild the Dutian blood seal. But this time, if the new Dutian blood seal was destroyed, who could stop the beast tribe from the 8 desolates? There's only one way now. Yunsheng looked at everyone, and then at her good friend Gufeng, who was trapped in the Dutian blood seal. That is to use the 8 desolates divine weapon to stop the 8 desolates dark divine weapon. The high priest has gathered the 8 desolates dark divine weapon, and we also have the 8 desolates divine weapon. Elder Siming, do you have a way to create an array to break the 8 desolates dark divine weapon within 12 hours? Fortunately, it was not the worst time yet. The other party had the 8 desolates dark divine weapon, and they also had the 8 desolates divine weapon. But Yunsheng, our 8 desolates divine weapon is not complete. You also know that I only have a part of the halberd of the divine battle god's power. Yi Baiming was talking about the halberd's power in his right hand. Back then, he and Duguxiu had shared the halberd of the divine battle god. This also meant that the boundless world did not have the complete 8 desolates divine weapon. You don't have to worry about this. This is because the High Priestess and the others don't possess the complete 8 Desolation Darkness divine artifact. You should have noticed that one of the 8 blood stars is slightly dimmer than the others. Yunsheng pointed at the star as she spoke. Indeed, the blood star in the middle was slightly dimmer. That is? The heavenly fate mirror of darkness? Ji Rumo was suddenly enlightened. That's right. I have long felt that the High Priest did not have good intentions when he took the 8 desolates dark divine weapon, so I gave the heavenly fate mirror of darkness to him. I'm afraid that even he did not realize that there was something wrong with the heavenly fate mirror of darkness. Yunsheng shrugged. Whether it was the heavenly fate mirror of darkness or the heavenly fate mirror of darkness, the most important part was the mirror spirit. The heavenly fate mirror of darkness contained Ji Rushue, who had already been devoured by Ji Rumo. Now, the heavenly fate mirror of darkness could only be considered as an empty shell. In terms of its true power, it could only unleash 10 to 20%. Under such circumstances, the 8 desolates dark divine weapon was also incomplete. In that case, I will leave the rest to Master and the others from the Dharma Temple. Ji Rumo heaved a sigh of relief. Elder Siming and the disciples of the Dharma Temple began to read the ancient books together. 24 hours passed by in minutes and seconds. Everyone was waiting anxiously. The 8 blood stars in the sky were getting closer and closer. Yunsheng, if we don't find a way to stop the 8 desolates dark divine weapon, will Gufeng be in danger? Dong Huangling seemed to be very uneasy. Although Dong Huangling was dressed like an empress, her eyes were filled with anxiety and fear. Back then, she could never forget the scene where she was separated from Gufeng. But this time, if the Dutian blood seal completely collapsed, Gufeng, who had become one with the Dutian blood seal, would definitely. Dong Huangling did not dare to think about it anymore. No, he won't. We managed to guard the 8 desolates dark divine weapon. This time, we won't fail either. Yunsheng looked at the 8 blood stars in the sky and said firmly. Chapter 1396. These 12 hours felt like years to both the boundless and the 8 desolates continents. In the sky, the 8 great bane gradually gathered in a straight line from 8 different directions. Inside the beast god altar, Duguxiu raised his head and looked at the sky. His fiery red hair was blown up by the wind like a ball of fire. At this moment, he couldn't tell what he was feeling. Even though he had the body of the strongest black Qilin patriarch, Yi Xiu, his mind was still Duguxiu's. When he was kicked into the magic array, he thought he was going to die. He watched as the underworld sun brought Yunsheng and Yi Baiming away. Then, he was swallowed by the magic array. When he woke up again, he only felt that his body was filled with violence and hatred. He hated all humans. He wanted to lead the Bakra orcs and slaughter all humans in the boundless continent. It was as if Duguxiu had been waiting for a lifetime. Finally, he saw a scene that made him excited. A blood-red light shot out from the 8 great blood stars. The 8 lights connected and formed a blood-red spear that pierced through the sky. Chi, a blood-red light pierced through the sky. The 8 desolates darkness divine weapon, sky-piercing spear, was formed. In the sky, it was as if a pot of boiling water had been boiled, and the clouds began to break apart. A tremor ran through the sky between the boundless continent and the 8 desolates continent. The blood-red spear formed by the 8 desolates darkness divine weapon descended from the sky like a million soldiers. It broke through the barrier between the 8 desolates continent and the boundless continent and charged toward the Dutian blood seal. It's here. Everyone, follow Elder Siming's arrangement and take a side. Get ready. In the Dutian blood realm on the boundless continent, Yunsheng and a few others were already standing in a magic array that had just been drawn. Elder Si-Ming found this magic array after flipping through the history books. It was a magic array used by the 8 Desolates Patriarch at the last moment of their battle. Legend had it that this magic array could fuse with the power of the 8 Barons' divine artifacts, allowing them to unleash their divine power to the maximum. This magic array was divided into 8 directions: east, west, south, north, southeast, southwest, northeast, and northwest. With Yunqing as the center, a total of 7 people were chosen. They each held a different 8 Baron divine tool and stood on a side. Yunqing summoning Demon Hand, Yi Baiming's War God Halberd, Ji Rumo's Heaven's Mandate Mirror, Forsaking Law Bracelet, Donghuang Ling, Donghuang Qing, Sister Lan's Heart Distress Lantern, Elder Judge Ming's Netherworld Ghost Key, Elf Queen's Immortal Holy Grail. The 8 of them began to chant at the same time. With the help of the magic formation, the 8 desolate artifacts in their hands began to emit a snow-white light. In the sky, the blood-red spear shot out. The evil aura contained in the spear turned into countless meteorites and rocks, forming the first wave of attack, attacking the Dutian blood seal. Inside the blood seal, Gufeng's expression didn't change when he saw the meteorites and rocks raining down like a storm. He was like a boulder, not moving at all. His body emitted a warm light. The warm light that he had never seen before caused the Dutian blood seal's light to tremble. Before the meteorites and rocks could even get close, they were turned into dust. As if it had sensed Gufeng's resistance, the blood-red spear suddenly began to buzz. The spear's body suddenly became several times bigger. Suddenly, it was like a huge red spear that could pierce through heaven and earth. With the power to devour heaven and earth, it charged straight towards the Dutian blood seal. It was like a greedy beast that wanted to devour the entire Dutian blood world. Seeing this, Yunsheng and the other 8 people roared in anger. Battle chi and magic power erupted from their bodies like 8 volcanoes. The 8 Desolation divine artifacts formed a majestic ball of light that rose from the ground. The ball of light grew bigger and bigger, enveloping the Dutian blood seal, Gufeng, and the entire Dutian blood world. It became a huge shield that covered the sky. 8 Desolation divine artifact, Heaven Shrouding Shield, form. The Heaven Breaker met the Heaven Shrouding Shield, and the Blood Spear met the Light Shield. It was like 2 meteorites colliding. The Blood Spear and the Light Shield clashed, neither willing to back down. On the Beast God altar of the 8 Desolation continent, everyone also exerted their strength. In the Boundless Continent's magic array, the 8 Desolation divine artifact was also exerting its last bit of divine power. Crack, crack, crack. On the light shield, like a spider web, layer after layer of cracks appeared, quickly spreading out in all directions of the light shield. Haha, it's useless. The 8 Desolation divine artifact is already dead. With just your motley crew, it's impossible to resist the 8 Desolation divine artifact. The high priest saw that Yunsheng and the others were still fighting like trapped beasts and let out an ear-piercing laugh. Could it be? Yunsheng stared at the blood spear in the sky with great difficulty. That blood spear was like a chisel that did not know fatigue, constantly breaking through the light shield. No matter what, we have to hold on. Yunsheng took a deep breath. Demon God transformation. Yunsheng's Dharma soul was released in an instant, forcibly increasing the Dharma power in the magic array by 10%. The Heaven Shrouding Shield, which was originally full of cracks, suddenly became more resilient. That's right, this is a matter of life and death for the Boundless Continent. We definitely cannot admit defeat, everyone said in unison. Everyone was united, and the Heaven Shrouding Shield's power became even stronger. What a bunch of troublesome ants. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being merciless. Duguxiu's gaze was eerily cold. He suddenly flew up, and the fist aura in his hand shot towards the sky like a torrential rain. That fist aura shot straight into the sky, forcibly tearing apart the boundary between the Boundless Continent and the 8 Desolates continent, and bombarded towards the Heaven Shrouding Shield. Duguxiu, don't you dare be presumptuous. Yi Baiming also punched out. The 2 fist auras collided in midair. Boom! The ground shook. Boom! Duguxiu's fist aura still hit the Heaven Shrouding Shield. Everyone felt as if their chests had been hit by a heavy punch. Their feet sank, and their bodies unknowingly sank a few inches into the ground. The Heaven Shrouding Shield was also unable to bear the burden, and the cracks continued to expand. Yi Baiming's expression changed slightly. Duguxiu's strength, Yi Baiming, I didn't expect you to still be alive. However, the current you is simply no match for me. Duguxiu, who possessed the Qilin King's heart and Qilin King's relic, as well as a portion of the Holy Infant's flesh and blood, was actually stronger than the reborn Yi Baiming in terms of strength. Admit defeat. You guys are simply no match for us. Amidst the high priest's savage laughter, the blood spear inched closer and closer. It was only a few dozen meters away from the Dutian blood seal. It's still too early for you to be happy. Just as the high priest was getting carried away, Yunsheng's slightly sarcastic voice was like a bucket of cold water being poured over his head. The high priest could not help but be stunned. Chapter 1397. Just as Yunsheng finished speaking, the high priestess looked at the sky again. Something strange happened. Blood spear, which had already gained the upper hand, suddenly cracked and broke into two halves at the end of the spear. The high priestess who was holding the dark destiny mirror in the beast god altar felt her blood boiling. She was powerless and spat out a mouthful of blood. Instantly, the array was in chaos. With a shattering sound, the heavenly fate mirror of darkness exploded. The 8 desolate darkness divine artifact had lost one of its parts. Its power was greatly reduced. With the blood spear broken, the high priestess' attack was greatly reduced. On the other hand, the people from the boundless land saw that their opponents were defeated and their morale was greatly boosted. The power of the heaven-shrouding shield increased by a few times. Yunsheng, it's your doing. A pair of blood-red eyes appeared in the sky. Those were Duguxiu's eyes. Duguxiu, tell the high priestess that a fake will always be a fake. The 8 desolate darkness divine artifact will never be able to compare to the genuine 8 desolate darkness divine artifact. After Yunsheng finished speaking, she waved her hand. The 8 desolate darkness divine artifact's power was greatly boosted. 8 rays of light shot into the sky. Do you think you have one just like this? Haha, let me tell you. This is just the beginning. Those blood stars have my Qilin's violent blood. Violent blood will turn into Qi. Ordinary people and demonic beasts will turn violent once they come into contact with it. I want to turn the entire boundless land into a living hell without wasting a single soldier. After Duguxiu finished speaking, there was a loud explosion in the sky. Those 7 blood stars that were hanging in the sky exploded with a bang. When the blood stars exploded, they turned into a mist and were blown away by the wind. Not good. There's something wrong with that blood mist. The sudden change caught Yunsheng and the rest off guard. By the time they reacted, the blood mist had already spread to all parts of the land. After Duguxiu merged with Yixiu's relic and heart, he was filled with hatred towards the boundless land. His blood and flesh were filled with his violent nature. The Dutian blood world was defended, but no one expected the blood stars to turn into a blood mist. The blood mist spread out with the wind. Its speed was so fast that even the treasured ship of the divine realm might not be able to catch up with it. In just one day, the 7 balls of blood mist had already begun to spread to every corner of the continent. It was like a terrifying plague, causing countless forests and cities to undergo drastic changes overnight. As soon as the blood mist touched the trees began to change. The trees that were originally rooted in the soil had their tendons turn into limbs. They spat out venom and crawled out of the soil. Once the blood mist touched the demonic beasts went berserk and attacked anyone they saw. The blood mist entered the city. The humans did not recognize their own family and killed their wives and children. Blood flowed like rivers in countless cities. Witnessing this tragic scene, Yunsheng and the rest realized that the Bakra orcs' hatred for the human race had reached such a level. That won't do. This blood fog is even more difficult to control than the Dutian blood cloud of the past. Even with the armies of the various countries, it is still very difficult to control. Every day, Elder Si Ming would receive news from the various temples, reporting how many people had been infected by the blood mist and how many cities had fallen. Violence turned into a bloody mist. It was an executioner more terrifying than war and disease. Before we find a way to control the blood mist, we have to think of a way to protect the people of the various countries. I think this time, we have to ask Mingri for help. Yunsheng made a prompt decision and told Bo her plan. You're saying that we should let the people of the major countries who haven't been infected by the blood fog go to the underworld to hide? Bo's expression was also very serious. She was a world deity, so she had to be responsible for the safety of the mortal world. At this moment, she was already regretting that she had kicked Duguxiu into the magic array. She really should have killed that brat to get rid of all future troubles. Now, that brat's strength was even more terrifying than that Qilin brat. Bo found Mingri. At first, Mingri was unwilling to agree to Bo's request. After all, he had already helped Bo once. Moving the people of the human race who had not died to the underworld on a large scale without permission was against the rules of the underworld. You have to save them even if you don't want to. Otherwise, when these people die, they will all go to the underworld. When the underworld explodes, you, god of the underworld, will also have a headache. Bo said angrily. Mingri was pestered to the point that he had no other choice. In the end, he could only agree to use the four-sided abyss flood dragon to transport a portion of the human race to the underworld. After receiving Ming Ri's promise, the rulers of the various countries, including Donghuangling, also took action. They informed the people of the various cities about the urgency of the current situation. However, due to the limited number of four-sided abyss flood dragons, the transfer of the human race was still very slow. After weighing the pros and cons of each country, they decided to prioritize the elderly, children, and women. "Mother, I want to be with my mother." On the four-sided abyss flood dragon, a child cried, wanting to look for his mother. Due to the problem of manpower, the four-sided abyss flood dragon could only transport 500 people at a time. Looking at the families being separated, the crying children, and the reluctant relatives and friends, Yunxing stood at the side, not saying a word. "Little wild cat, don't be sad. This is not your fault. You have already done your best." Yi Baiming walked to Yunsheng's side unknowingly. He knew that during these days, Yunsheng had been working hard to unite the medical practitioners and light magicians from all over the continent to find a way to get rid of the blood fog. Those martial artists and magicians who possessed Do Qi and magic power could still barely hold on for a few days. However, ordinary people would not be able to do so. She had not rested for a few days and nights. Her eyes were already bloodshot. This made Yi Baiming's heart ache. As a medical practitioner, I should save the dying and heal the injured. Seeing so many innocent people falling down one by one because of my mistake, I am unable to find any way to treat them. This was the first time in Yunxing's life that she felt powerless. This blood fog should be a kind of modern infectious disease. Only people and magical beasts that were contaminated by the blood fog or contaminated by the blood fog would be able to undergo a second infection. However, no matter how hard she tried, she was still unable to find the source of the pollution and the treatment method. "We will definitely find it." Ji Rumo and the rest are also discussing through the night. "You are all the best medical practitioners and magicians in the continent. You just need some time, and you will definitely be able to find a way to control and treat the blood fog." Yi Baiming hugged Yunsheng in his arms. In terms of medical skills, he could not give her any advice. All he could give was encouragement. "Actually, Night Fox, I have an idea. If it succeeds, there might be a chance to find a way to control the pollution of the blood fog." Yunsheng hesitated for a while. Then, she clenched her teeth and told him the idea that had been in her mind for a few days. "What? You said you want to enter the heavily polluted area of the blood fog to find a treatment method? This is too dangerous." Yi Baiming frowned after hearing Yunsheng's idea. Chapter 1398. Yunsheng's idea was for her to take the risk and enter the area contaminated by the blood fog. She would come into contact with the first line of pollution and see if she could find a way to resolve the blood fog's pollution. "Night Fox, I know you're worried about me. This time, you have to listen to me. There's not much time left in the boundless land. Even the underworld could make such a huge concession for the human world, let alone us, who are originally from the boundless land. Duguxiu hates the human race so much not only because he fused with Yixiu's flesh and blood, but also because of you and me. Therefore, the disaster of the blood fog this time has a lot to do with us." Yunxing knew that Yi Baiming was unwilling to let her take the risk. As a doctor with modern medical knowledge, Yunxing knew that every major outbreak of a disease required a cycle. During this cycle, the first line of medical personnel had to enter the seriously ill area and come into contact with the patients. Only then would they be able to find a way to treat the disease. Therefore, she planned to select a group of doctors and magicians to lead into the blood fog polluted area. "Since you insist on going, I'll go with you." Yi Baiming knew that at this time, Yunsheng would not compromise no matter what he said. In the end, Yunsheng could only agree to Yi Baiming's request. When Yunsheng put forward her idea, she did not expect to receive a lot of responses from many people. Some of the doctors and magicians who were originally prepared to move to the underworld also suggested that they were willing to follow Yunsheng into the blood fog polluted area. Soon, Yunsheng selected a 60-person emergency medical team. "We've already analyzed the situation of the blood fog in the entire mainland. Currently, the most seriously polluted areas in the entire mainland are Penglai Island and the area around Grand Emperor City." Yunsheng had already heard about the latest situation of the blood fog pollution from Elder Si Ming. Grand Emperor City? Yunsheng did not expect to hear this familiar name again. Penglai was a sealed island. When the blood fog spread to Penglai, Penglai was now an isolated island due to the demonization of flying magical beasts and the suspension of shipping. Therefore, Yunsheng could still understand why Penglai Island was so badly affected. But why was Grand Emperor City also a disaster area? The situation in Grand Emperor City is a little special. All of you know that although the blood fog is powerful, as long as we can move in time, we can reduce the number of casualties and avoid being contaminated by the blood fog and going berserk. However, after the citizens of the Grand Imperial City received our warning, not only did they not escape, they instead defended the Grand Imperial City to the death. That's why the current situation was created. Chang Si-ming admitted that he was already a stubborn old man, but he didn't expect that there would be someone who was 100 times more stubborn than him. That person was the city lord and the citizens of Grand Emperor City. Before the blood mist had spread, Elder Si-ming had already notified the major forces of the mainland. He had also quickly evacuated the members of the Dharma Temple from Penglai Island. Other forces on the continent, including the Yun family in Taiyuan Mountain, had also listened to Yun Sheng's suggestion and temporarily moved to Skywing City. However, not a single person from the Grand Emperor City left. Even Elder Si-ming could not explain the reason behind this. That's bad. Even if it's Uncle Yuan and the others, it's unlikely that they will survive the blood mist. Yunqing frowned as she thought of Yuan Shahua. There's no time to lose. Let's rush to Grand Emperor City and check out the situation. After Yunqing and Yi Baiming weighed the pros and cons, they decided to make Grand Emperor City their final destination. A day later, Yunqing, Yi Baiming, and the others were already standing outside the barrier of Grand Emperor City. Yunqing, it's great to see all of you. Before Yunqing arrived at Grand Emperor City, she had already contacted Yuan Shahua. She had rushed over accompanied by her second uncle, Yun Songlong. Second aunt, second uncle, are you all right? Are grandfather and the others well? Yunqing hadn't seen her second uncle and his family for a while. Everyone is fine. Your mother asked me to tell you to take good care of yourself. Tianyi Yu and the others also asked me to send their regards. When Yun Songlong saw Yunqing, he gave her a big hug before nodding at Yi Baiming. After the upheaval of the blood mist, Yun Songlong only allowed a few of his young children to follow the four-sided abyss flood dragon to the underworld. He, Yuan Shahua, and the rest of the mercenary band moved to Skywing City to act as backup for Yunqing and the others. As it was high up in the sky, Skywing City was less affected by the blood mist. Second aunt, we want to enter Grand Emperor City, but there's a barrier set up outside the city. We can't enter at the moment. Yunqing and the others only realized that the situation was more serious than they had imagined when they arrived outside Grand Emperor City. Once the barrier of Grand Emperor City was activated, the people outside could not enter, and the people inside could not enter. Yunqing, you must save the people of Grand Emperor City. Actually, we have our own difficulties and have no choice but to stay in Grand Emperor City. I'll activate the barrier and all of you will follow me. But I beg of you, no matter what happens to the people in the city, you must not harm their lives. Yuan Shahua's eyes were already red as Yun Songlong comforted his beloved wife softly. Over the past few days, Yuan Shahua had not been having an easy time. She wanted to return to Grand Emperor City at all times. However, her father had already sent her a letter, telling her not to return no matter what. Second aunt, don't worry. We will definitely not harm anyone. Yunqing and I are only entering the city to help the people in the city. Yi Baiming nodded. After receiving Yi Baiming's promise, Yuan Shahua slit her wrist. When the dark red blood seeped into the city, the barrier that enveloped Grand Emperor City was quickly removed. The moment the barrier was removed, Yi Baiming raised his thick eyebrows and shielded Yunqing behind him. An invisible pressure spread out from Yi Baiming's body. It was as if it had hit a wall. The unknown object that flew out from the barrier was sent flying with a bang. Brother! Yuan Shahua exclaimed. In front of her was the young city lord of Grand Emperor City, Yuan Bupa, whose limbs were on the ground like a demonic beast. His eyes were scarlet and his entire body was covered in strange scales. Everyone, back off. He must have been demonized by the blood fog. Everyone, put on the special helmet that I have prepared before you can enter. With that, Yunqing took out a special helmet from her beast language ring. These helmets were made by Yunqing based on the anti-poison biochemical helmets of modern medical equipment. Although they were not as sophisticated as the modern helmets, they were blessed with special light magic and could resist the blood fog very well. With them, as long as Yunqing and the rest did not come into direct contact with the blood of the infected, they would be able to avoid being contaminated by the blood fog. After putting on the helmets, Yi Baiming walked forward and temporarily restrained Yuan Bupa, who had fallen into a demonic state. Night Fox, you walk at the front. Second aunt, you follow behind and lead the way. I think we have to find the city lord's family. Yunqing looked at the blood fog in Grand Emperor City and frowned even more. Chapter 1399. The deeper they went into Grand Emperor City, the more frightened Yunqing and the rest were. They did not expect Grand Emperor City to become like this. Their impression of Grand Emperor City could be said to be a paradise on Earth. But now, Grand Emperor City had completely become a dead land. Along the way, they encountered many violent citizens of Grand Emperor City. Thanks to Yi Baiming and Yun Songlong, those citizens did not hurt them. Father, mother. Yuan Xiahua went all the way to the city lord's residence, but what she saw was the tragic scene of the city lord and his wife committing suicide. Xiahua, calm down. Seeing that his wife was about to throw herself forward, Yun Songlong hugged her tightly, unwilling to let her take another look. The city lord must have been infected by the blood fog. To prevent himself from harming others after becoming violent, he committed suicide. The city lord's wife probably could not accept it, so she followed the city lord. Yunqing, who was at the side, shook her head after checking the two's wounds. Why? Why didn't you listen to my advice? Yuan Xiahua choked with sobs. Sob sob. Yuan Bupo, who was at the side under Yi Baiming's control, also let out a cry like a trapped beast. Second aunt, my condolences. Now is not the time to be sad. I am very sorry, but the bodies of the city lord and his wife cannot be buried for the time being. We have to search the city for the next few days and count the citizens who are still alive and those who are already dead. Remember, you have to capture them alive without harming the citizens as much as possible. Also, I need some violent demonic beasts. Yunqing instructed the accompanying doctors and sorcerers. After about 3 days, Yunqing and the rest finally imprisoned the citizens of Grand Emperor City who were still alive. In order to prevent the citizens from killing each other, Yunqing could only use the heavenly prison of thorns to lock them up separately. After counting, there were roughly 200+ citizens of Grand Emperor City who were still alive. Fortunately, other than the city lord and his wife, Yuan Xiahua's younger sister, Yuan Shanshan, was also found. We have captured them. Yunqing, what do you plan to do next? Can Bupo and Shanshan still be saved? Yuan Xiahua knew that it was pointless for her to wallow in her grief. Therefore, she took the initiative to ask to be Yunqing's helper. I need to draw their blood, and then. Yunqing hesitated. Then, it will be injected into the bodies of normal people and magical beasts. I'm going to try it on myself first. In modern medicine, the method of using white mice would be used for clinical treatment of various diseases. But now, on the boundless continent, whether it was plants, magical beasts, or humans, they were all infected with the unknown blood fog poison. So Yunqing had no choice but to use the most extreme method of testing, which was to directly test it on humans and magical beasts at the same time. What? Although they already knew that Yunqing's style of doing things was different from ordinary doctors, Yuan Xiahua and the others were still shocked. How can we do that? Sheng, what if you're turned into a monster too? Yun Songlong was adamant in his disagreement. Yunqing, second uncle is right. If you really want to try it, then try it on me. Yi Baiming stepped forward. No. Yunqing had previously mentioned to Yi Baiming that she might personally participate in the testing of the blood fog poison, but she did not agree to let Yi Baiming try it on her behalf. I'm a man. How can I let my woman take the risk? Let me take the risk. I still have the life and death talisman in my body, and I have the experience of going berserk. My resistance is much stronger than the average person. Yi Baiming tried his best to persuade Yunqing. Yunqing, you should agree to Baiming's request. After all, you are the most skilled doctor among all of us. If you are also poisoned by the blood fog poison, the rest of us won't be able to do anything. A group of doctors and magicians who came with Yunqing also tried to persuade Yunqing. Everyone has said so. Little wild cat, don't worry. I will definitely pull through. Yi Baiming said gently. All right, Night Fox. Trust me. I will find a cure. Yunqing took a deep breath and finally made up her mind. Duguxiu looked up at the lonely sky from the Octoterra Divine Beast altar. It had been 10 days since the 8 crimson stars disappeared. Don't worry. No one can cure the blood fog poison. Once the boundless continent becomes a land of death, we will be able to invade it. The Great Witch Doctor said excitedly. The Great Witch Doctor had combined the witchcraft of the Octoterra Divine Beast altar to create the blood fog poison after decades of refinement. The Great Witch Doctor believed that even the gods of the divine realm would not be able to resolve the boundless continent's calamity. Are you sure that the blood fog poison is incurable? Duguxiu asked. Well, To be honest, the blood fog poison is not completely incurable. Since your blood was used as the catalyst for the poison, the one who tied the bell must untie it. The catalyst used to create the antidote is also in your possession. The Great Witch Doctor said carefully. Understood. You may leave. Duguxiu said flatly. After the Great Witch Doctor left as well. A land of death? Haha, is this really what I want? Duguxiu asked himself. Why? Are you regretting it? The high priest appeared behind Duguxiu like a ghost and looked at him with a dark expression. Regret? Why should I? Taking revenge on the boundless continent has always been my long-cherished wish. Don't forget, I am no longer the Duguxiu of the past. Duguxiu turned around abruptly, his expression cold. That damned old man. Yixiu looked at the high priest with disgust. He could tell that the high priest had special feelings for Yixiu, the patriarch of the Black Qilin clan. Every time the high priest looked at him like that, he felt goosebumps all over his body. He was Duguxiu, not Yixiu. However, he could not break off his relationship with the high priest just yet. Yunxing, you forced my hand this time, but I know you won't back down just like that. I'm waiting for you to come back for me. Looking at the pitch-black night sky again, Duguxiu's eyes seemed to have turned into a sea of blood. More than 10 days had passed. Everyone in Skywing City was still anxiously waiting for news from Grand Emperor City. Still no news? It's already been more than half a month. Master and the others won't be in danger, right? After returning from the Netherworld, Bobo temporarily separated from Yunxing and the others. She waited in Skywing City for a while, but there was still no news. The situation in Grand Emperor City is very complicated. Right now, we have no way of contacting them. Bobo, don't be impatient. We have to believe in Yunxing. Dong Huangling patiently persuaded Bobo. I can't wait any longer. I plan to make a trip to Grand Emperor City. Bobo was really impatient. Ignoring Dong Huangling and the others' attempts to stop her, she insisted on leaving the relatively safe Skywing City alone and rushed in the direction of Grand Emperor City. Chapter 1400. In the Grand Imperial City, Yunxing had not slept for more than 10 days. Yunxing, you should rest for a while. We are here. If there are any changes, we will inform you. Yuan Shahua and the others looked at Yunxing, whose eyes were bloodshot and mouth blisters. They were all worried. No, I have to accompany him. Yunxing's gaze fell on the cages in front of her. In these cages were the subjects that Yunxing had selected for her experiments. Some of them were plants, while others were magical beasts. In one of the cages was a golden qilin. Just a quarter of an hour ago, Yunxing injected a certain amount of blood into the golden qilin's body. The blood was drawn from Yi Baiming's body. Over the past 10 days, Yunxing would personally inject the demonized blood into the qilin form. In the first few days, Yi Baiming's reaction was very strong. Even the ordinary magic cages could not contain him. However, whenever he saw Yunxing, he would try his best to calm down. It had to be said that Yi Baiming's willpower had reached an astonishing level. On the 5th and 6th days, the poison had tortured him to an inhuman state. Apart from Yunxing, he would attack anyone who approached him. Therefore, Yunxing could only accompany him. As she did not have time to eat, she relied on drinking some water of life to support herself. Yunxing, it has been more than 10 days. Are you sure you want to continue? Even Ji Rumo felt that Yunxing's experiment was futile. No, wait a little longer. Yunxing stared at the golden qilin in the cage. The latter raised its tired eyes and looked at her deeply. That night, Yunxing couldn't hold on any longer. Ji Rumo had no choice but to cast a sleeping spell on Yunxing. Only then did she fall asleep. Yunxing slept very deeply. When she woke up, Yuan Shahua and the others all had flustered expressions. What's wrong? Yunxing's heart skipped a beat. Not long after Yuan Shahua and the others sent Yunxing to rest, the golden qilin began to become restless. Yunxing, Yi Baiming's situation seems a bit off. He's starting to have a high fever that won't subside. We don't know why it's like this. Ji Rumo had no choice but to use all kinds of magic to suppress him. But in the middle of the night, the golden scales on the golden qilin's body suddenly fell off. Many red papules grew on the surface of the qilin's body, but the high fever still didn't subside. These papules grew all over its body overnight. What? You said that it has a lot of papules and has a fever? After hearing this news, Yunxing didn't panic. On the contrary, a strange look appeared in her eyes. Yunxing, its situation isn't good. Yun Songlong and Ji Rumo were guarding the golden qilin. They didn't feel good seeing Yunxing in such a state. If anything happened to Yi Baiming, Yunxing would probably, it's a success. Haha, it's a success. I guessed right. There's hope for the boundless world. The night fox's body is starting to produce antibodies. Yunsheng was crying and laughing at the same time. She rushed to the cage and opened it. Ignoring everyone's exclamations, she hugged the golden qilin immediately. Her tears rolled down uncontrollably. They had never seen Yunsheng lose her composure like this. Ji Rumo and the others looked at each other. They didn't know what was wrong with Yunsheng. After another 3 days, the papules on the golden qilin's body started to scab and fall off. Yunsheng immediately collected the papules. The golden qilin's fever also subsided. Its appearance gradually returned to its original state. On the 7th day, Yi Baiming finally returned to his human form. After confirming that Yi Baiming was fine, Yunsheng immediately disappeared from the scene. No one knew what she was doing. Second aunt, second uncle, here's some medicine. Distribute it to the people in the city. When Yunsheng appeared in front of everyone again, she took out some medicine. Yuan Shahua and the others didn't know what Yunsheng's intention was. They followed Yunsheng's instructions and gave the medicine to Yuan Bupo and the others. Not long after drinking the medicine, Yuan Bupo, who had been in a crazy state, gradually regained his senses. Big sister? Why are you back? Didn't father and mother tell you not to come back? Yuan Bupo still didn't realize what had happened in the past few days. When he saw Yuan Shahua, he was surprised. Bupo, you've really recovered? Oh my god, if father and mother saw this scene in heaven, they would be very happy. Yuan Shahua hugged Yuan Bupo and cried. Second sister, what did you say? What happened to father and mother? After Yuan Bupo learned about what had happened, he hugged Yuan Shahua and cried. After a few hours, after being treated by the medicine, the people of Grand Emperor City gradually regained their senses. Yunsheng, this time, I really have to thank you for helping Grand Emperor City get through this difficult time. After experiencing the death of his parents, Yuan Bupo seemed to have grown up a lot. Grand Emperor City had suffered a heavy blow and almost 90% of the people in the city had died. As the new city lord of Grand Emperor City, Yuan Bupo had a heavy responsibility. After he learned that his blood mist poison had been cured with the help of Yi Baiming, he sincerely expressed his gratitude to Yunsheng and Yi Baiming. Especially Yi Baiming. Back then, Yuan Bupo admired Yunsheng and had always been hostile to Yi Baiming. He didn't expect that his love rival would risk his life to save him this time. Thinking of this, Yuan Bupo couldn't help but feel emotional. Bupo, Grand Emperor City has suffered such an unforeseen event. We should have stayed to help you. However, the boundless land is still under the threat of the blood mist poison. We have to think of a way to promote this medicine on a large scale. Also, the current Grand Emperor City isn't suitable for people to live in. It's best that all of you move out, Yunsheng said to Yuan Bupo apologetically. Yunsheng, it's not that we don't want to move out. We can't leave because... Yuan Bupo hesitated. He looked at his two sisters beside him. The three of them looked hesitant. They didn't know if they should tell Yunsheng the truth. It's not that they don't want to leave. It's that they can't leave because there's a huge secret hidden beneath Grand Emperor City. They have to keep this secret. Just as Yuan Bupo was stuttering and didn't know how to explain it to Yunsheng, Bobo walked in under the escort of a few Grand Emperor City citizens. Bobo was tied up by the Grand Emperor City citizens and she looked angry. Bobo, why are you here? Yunsheng was afraid that Bobo would cause trouble and quickly went forward to untie her. You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.